All right, folks, welcome back to the News Underground. Just getting things situated here. We got to get cracking, though. I have 3.5 hours and
like
so
this,
much fucking
biatch.
news. Yes. Big props to HP Shouty. Thank you, HP Shouty. I do appreciate it. So exactly does Putin have over Trump? It's got to be something juicy, dude. I don't, but I don't know though, because Trump, look at Trump with tariffs. Look at Trump with tariffs. He's a true believer. He's completely fucking the entire global economy. Doesn't care. Utterly convinced that he's correct. You know what I mean? Like, this Russia thing could be the same thing, where he thinks he's still in the 80s. It's strong Russia. I'm intimidated by Russia. Russia has something to offer me. I think he's also he sees Putin. He sees himself in Putin. He wants to emulate Putin and how he runs this country like a dictator. Let's get into it. Welcome back. Number one in the chat, Clutch Cargo. So this is just a freeze frame, right? This doesn't really represent anything. One second here. This is what's happening right now. Ukraine's getting fucked. That's why Trump wants them alone. Zelensky, it's a fucking. They're going to be fucking, and not in the good way. Okay, it's going to be a bad fucking. Right after this meeting, Donald Trump started talking very aggressively about banning mail-in voting across the nation. This is something that he's talked about. He doesn't understand or care that millions of Republicans use mail-in voting. He seems, I think, because liberals temporarily increased their mail-in voting more than Republicans during COVID. I think he's convinced that it's effective to take it out. If you got to take out some Republicans, as long as you're hurting enough liberals, right? So we're now seeing serious discussion. We might see an executive order to ban mail-in voting, which is illegal, unconstitutional. But the whole idea is you would time it so that it's caught, stuck in the courts. And of course, Supreme Court, just, the shadow docket will probably allow it to happen. They're not going to stop it. And then maybe later they'll find it unconstitutional or something. Maybe not. Who cares, right? At that point. But that's the idea, to destroy mail-in voting, and he thinks somehow that's going to help him. Don't be surprised if we also see the counting of ballots stops at 12 o'clock thing that he's talked about as well. That's another fantasy of his. He would like the counting of ballots to stop at 12 o'clock. I don't know what time zone, but, and the reason, of course, is that he was winning, from his perception, he was winning in the 2020 election when he went to bed, and then when he woke up, he lost. And that's, of course, because they were counting the fucking votes. So, it's being, the reason why it's in the Russia section here is that it's rumored that Putin said, the mail-in voting is more effective for the liberals in your country, so you should destroy it if you want to win. So I don't know how true that is, but I do know that this has been a target of his, at least since the 2020 election, since he lost to Joe Biden. He's talked about this. The Trump vows to target mail-in ballots ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. U.S. President Donald Trump pledged on Monday to issue an executive order to end the use of mail-in ballots and voting machines ahead of the 2026 midterm elections, a move likely to spark legal challenges by the states. "Quote unquote, I'm going to lead a movement to get rid of mail-in ballots, and also while we're at it, highly inaccurate, quote unquote, very expensive and seriously controversial voting machine. So I expected this because he's gonna cut Dominion out, right? Because of all the lawsuits and all the embarrassment that Dominion has caused the Republican Party. So he's definitely going to be cutting out Dominion. But it looks like he's going to be doing that by, what is he going to do? All voting machines, the computers making. So, I mean, the reason why this is going to be beneficial, this doesn't help because it's like, well, paper ballots, isn't that good? Paper ballots is good for maybe a couple 100,000, like a population of a couple 100,000. When you have a population of tens of millions of people, having every single thing down on paper processed by a human being slows everything down by fucking weeks, actually. And like I said, don't be surprised if we see this coupled with a stop counting at 12 o'clock press on Zelensky after not achieving jack shit. Yeah, that is exactly what's happening. It's Donald Trump putting Zelensky alone in a room and saying, you're giving up everything. You're giving it up. You're giving up territory. You're doing it. You're giving up everything right now. You're doing it right now. As soon as you leave, we're going to go to a press conference. You're going to do that. You're going to admit defeat. It's that bad. It's that bad. He's that much of a piece of shit. He's that much of a coward. There aren't adjectives. The English language doesn't have enough fucking things, disgusting things to say about Donald Trump and his fucking ignorance. But he's using this as an opportunity now to go after voting machines and mail-in ballots. So anyway, this gets into the false narrative, et cetera, et cetera. If you want to read the article, it's right here. Whoa, Tisrael, holy shit, man. Don't be saying shit like that. Look, man, Tisrael, I'm sorry that I have to do this. But I have to time you out for that, man. Okay? Because Twitch TOS does not allow that. One bit. Not at all. He did not say that. Okay? He did not say that. He takes it back. If he wasn't timed out, he would take it back. But I have to. I literally have to, or I'm going to lose my channel for saying shit like that. So please do not do that. Trump, quote unquote, whispers, "I'll help you. I'll help you. You want a blowjob? Bitch. You want a blowjob? I'll be your little bitch. You want a blowjob? I'm gonna come." So Trump whispers, "I'll help you," to Putin before meeting in May. So he did this out on the fucking red carpet that he had U.S. troops roll out for this dictator. It's one of the most embarrassing moments in American history. I feel completely ashamed to be born in this country, to love the Constitution. I feel ashamed of myself that I love the United States, which I still do. I still love this country. But I'm embarrassed. I'm fucking embarrassed. And the reason why he does this is because his brain is it's just literally fucking mush. So he wants to get to the thing that he's been thinking about right away. I'll help you. That's the plan. We're gonna convince Zelensky. We're gonna cut off the weapons. We've made the decision. We're going to do it. We're going to help you. We're going to fuck over Ukraine. I'm sick and tired. I've made the decision. I'm sitting in the big boy chair. I'm an executive. I made the choice. We're going to help you. The one who's losing. The one who's getting his ass kicked. The one who doesn't deserve it. But you're going to let me build a hotel. And it's like, Zelensky will let his ass build a fucking hotel, but it's like, I don't care about Ukraine. I want to build a hotel in Moscow. I want Trump Moscow. This is how this guy thinks. Next thing here. I'm going to lead a movement to get rid of mail-in ballots. Trump, he just, he's completely fucking scrambles, right? He doesn't understand nuance. He doesn't understand statescraft. He doesn't understand that he shouldn't say this. He thinks he's a maverick because he's like, you know, pseudo autistic and just fucking runs at the mouth. Right? I would never insult autistic people by comparing them. Vladimir Putin, smart guy, said you can't have an honest election with mail-in voting. Yeah, did your enemy in geopolitics say that to you? You fucking idiot. You embarrassment. He doesn't get it. Hey, the snake in the grass told me to listen to him, so I'm gonna do it. Making an executive decision, gonna listen to the snake in the grass. The guy who's getting his ass kicked on the battlefield every single day. I'm going to side with him. I'm a national embarrassment. Thanks for putting me in charge. Thanks for letting the Republican Party install partisans in the Supreme Court who have enshrined me as a dictator. Preach. I love the freeze frame on Tapper Jake over here. Fuck you, you bitch. Fuck you. Fuck you, Tapper Jake, you piece of fucking trash. Don't pretend like you give a fucking shit. Don't pretend like you care. It's a neoliberal Tucker Carlson. Tapper Jake. Except for running his mouth, he keeps his mouth shut like a good boy. He's a bizarro version Tucker Carlson. Right? Bootlicking for power, but in a different style. Aaron Rupar here with another banger. Aaron, stop giving Elon Musk the money. Okay, what the fuck is this, man? That's supposed to help you? Your engagement? What, is your whole life on Twitter, dude? And I mean this with all due respect, because you're a banger Twitter twit. So I get it. But get a life, man. Get the fuck off this website. I get it though. Like like every time I do a political tweet, right? Every time I do political coverage, I'm always featuring Aaron Rupar tweets. He's a banger tweeter. But you got to get off the Nazi website, and you got to at least stop giving Elon Musk $5 a fucking month, man. Okay, I don't want to see that shit. It's embarrassing. Anyway, another banger here. Witkoff claims Putin agreed to quote unquote legislative enshrinement within the Russian Federation, not to go after any other territories, but the peace deal is codified. Laugh along with me. Laugh along with me. Did the guy in the country who literally lies in every statement that they make and has literally broken every treaty that they've agreed to not go farther if we just give them everything that they want now, this time, just this once? I mean, that face is appropriate. That face is appropriate because it's like, what are you, a fucking idiot? And the answer is yeah. I mean, he knows. Witkoff knows this is stupid. He doesn't care though. He's made his decision. It's like, okay, I'm rolling the dice with this fascist dictatorship. We'll see where it goes. I know Tapper Jake and Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the neoliberal, fuckwits aren't going to arrest me after the fact. You know, there's going to be no Nuremberg trials for my treason. So fuck it. Roll the dice. The worst that's going to happen is that I wind up on a right-wing podcast or some shit. Right? That's how these guys think. Worst that'll happen is that I'll have a small little, Z-level media career doing interviews with Tucker Carlson every so often or whatever. Like that's the worst that'll happen. So, why not? Why not roll the dice with a fascist dictatorship? Good question. I don't know, blessed up kid. I know the algorithm hates my fucking guts wherever I go. I know the algorithm says, oh yeah, nice. Nice show you got there. Nice show you got there. It'd be a shame if we, yep. Oh, look at that algorithm. No, that doesn't really vibe with our Mr. Beast kind of setup here. Should I fill my fucking pants with a bunch of fucking bouncy balls while I'm doing this? Should I do that? Is that how I trick the algorithm? Right? I pour fucking pudding or something into my pants every 5 minutes, and I just sit in fucking gallons of pudding in my pants Make sure there's a camera on my pants to show the pudding in my pants while I'm covering serious topics. Should I do that? Or I pour marbles down my shirt every 3 minutes. No, I'm literally like, yeah, so like 16 million children died in Gaza. You know, I'm dumping like a whole fucking bucket of marbles down my shirt. It actually kind of sounds like a fun idea now that I think about it. No. Kind of a neat idea, actually. It's in like an absurdist Dada kind of way to cover geopolitics and politics, right? It would be very Dada-esque. It would be very absurdist, right? So anyway, I just, so in celebration of Putin's sloppy blowjob from Donald Trump, this was seen on the battlefield, I think today or yesterday. I just, yeah, you're seeing that right. That's a Russian APC of some sort, flying the Russian and U.S. flag. It's getting shot at and blown up by Ukraine, so small consolation, great, get fucked, like they all do. Any one of these motherfuckers that gets out there, there's a good fucking chance that they're going to, at the very least, get harassed. Because Ukrainian troops are on top of it, professional. They're tired as hell, but it's a 24/7, 7 days a week job. The motherfuckers take it seriously, right? So you don't get to run around like the victors in a war that you have clearly not won. Without the very least getting harassed, right? The reason why it's smoking like that is because it was hit with the drone, but RT doesn't show that part, right? Because this is RT, fucking Russian propaganda. But isn't that great? Isn't that fucking great? Well, you earned it, Donald Trump. You earned it. God, and the real crime is he's going to go into the grave incapable of feeling embarrassment from this. You know what I mean? What? What do you mean? What? You should give me the Nobel Peace Prize, actually, for this. You should give me the Nobel Peace Prize for this, actually. I'm a peacemaker. How was Anthem? Oh, fucking game is so terrible. They put tens of millions of dollars into animating characters that were designed to be the most unlikable people ever written. Are we now the baddies? We are. It's official. The United States absolutely is on the. That's exactly what's going to happen. Trump is going to sit Zelensky down, tell him what's going to happen. We're going to cut you off unless you capitulate. Zelensky, of course, is not going to capitulate, and Donald Trump is going to have to back up his threat. But he might not, because he's a fucking coward and taco. He could just as easily back off from all of this, shamelessly saying, "I changed my mind. We're still going to give Ukraine weapons. I don't know." Trump rejects. So the rumor mill was, the rumor mill was that a bunch of people from Europe, a bunch of leaders from Europe, unprecedented group of leaders. I think it was like France, UK, NATO leaders. Who was it? Like Sweden or something? Finland, one of them. They were all supposed to show up along with Zelensky to do a joint meeting. Well, Trump has fucking rejected it because we all know what he's going to be doing here. Art of the deal, more like how the toddler squeals. I did it. It's funny. It's a good one. Yeah, I'm really funny guy. I'm really clever and stuff. But you know what I'm saying here? Like the whole idea, you lock him in the room, him and JD Vance. Yeah, do it, Trump. Do it. Do it. Fucking JD over here. Did I do it right? Did I do it right, Trumpy Trump? It's a fucking nightmare. They're going to get him in a fucking room and be like, no, bad news. We're cutting you off. Bad news. Bad news, we're cutting you off. Yeah, no, Vance won't be there because they've said like, Vance, go outside and play. Go outside, spread the good word of Trump, but I don't really want to see you anymore. You were kind of a favor to Peter Thiel, and you're kind of useless, and you clearly want to sit in my seat, and every time I look at you, I'm disgusted, so you go outside and play. And Vance goes, okay, no problem, bye. Just waiting for you to die. Bye, bye, bye. Anyway, here's what regular Ukrainians have to say about it.
Результат нульовий. І це очікувано було, що результат нульовий.
Zero,
Два
just as
маразматика
expected.
зараз. То нічого там хорошого я не чекав від нього.
Ну, я думаю,
Didn't
они
have high hopes. Two old guys had a meeting. I didn't have high hopes.
решают основной вопрос не об Украине, а стратегический раздел
Wow, this guy fucking nails it. Gee, Ukrainians pretty fucking informed here.
мира между собой.
Толку не буде для України. Не від нього.
Okay, yep, totally accurate here. And I don't have any. Do I have any quality options? I don't. I'm just left to the fucking wind. All right, just roll the dice. Hope the thing figures itself out. Cool. No, look at that. Wow, no quality settings. Love it. Big improvement. Big improvement. Hey, we took the steering wheel out of your car. Pretty cool, huh? Give it a shot. It's new and dynamic. Minimalist. You know, you didn't really need it. You control it with your fucking eyebrows now. You just kind of twitch your eyebrows left, right. That way you don't have to use your arms. You can just sit there like Daria. Look, I'm driving my car the new way. It's better. It's better because there's less options and less features. It's better, guys.
Не від Путіна.
Це знищення Америки як держави.
Oh my God, isn't she adorable? I think it's the end of America. I think it's the end of America as a country. Oh, I thought she was saying in the end. I thought America. No. Okay, she's saying it's the end of America as a country with democratic values. Spot on.
З демократичними цінностями. Диктатор, людина,
Dictator, serial killer of citizens has been allowed to visit America. Nailed it.
серійний вбивця цивільних поїхав в Америку. Ну, це ганьба. Це ганьба.
It's a disgrace for the civilized world, man. Nailed it. She should be a news reporter.
Всьому цивілізованому світу.
Six
Ну,
head
они
world.
так чисто, мне кажется, ветер
Welcome back,
погонять,
YouTube.
из какой-то изоляции выйти и все.
Один воєнний злочинець.
So what that young fella say there? A chance for Putin to show he's not isolated, nothing more. Fuck. Damn. Y'all motherfuckers are informed over there in Ukraine.
Изоляция выйти и все.
Один воєнний злочинець і інший вже нічого гарного. Вони
Yeah.
нічого не домовляться.
Yeah.
Це ганьба.
Yeah. I would increase the quality if I fucking could. Okay, but we're just at the whims here of YouTube. This is better. This is how things should work, guys. Isn't this better? Does this look better to you? It looks better to me. Thank you, YouTube. I didn't need those quality controls on my video. Fuck that shit. YouTube gets it right 100% of the time. Okay, I don't need to think anymore. I just let YouTube do it.
І позорисько.
It's a disgrace. It's a humiliation for America. Wow. I'm starting to see a
І
theme here.
приниження Америки.
Сподіваємося, що хоча б хоч щось зміниться, чесне слово,
Something
тому що
changes.
зараз взагалі нічого не
See
відомо.
what's going on. God damn, dog. Get your ass over to Ukraine, single fellas. Holy shit, dude. God damn. I saw a picture of Mila Kunis yesterday. I was like, God damn. Y'all know how to make them over there in Ukraine. Anyway, we done being sexist? Okay, we're done being sexist. This is supposed to be the end of the Ukraine segment. 1 second. No. Where's the end of the Ukraine segment here? No, that's Gaza. That's Gaza. Oh, this is the end of the Ukraine segment. Oh, wow. Smoke another, motherfucker. How about you smoke another? So anyway, I wanted to end on the reality which is Ukraine is absolutely fucking spanking Russia all over the battlefield. It's not even a question. The only thing Russia has over Ukraine is, of course, size and numbers. Once they get those troops, that armor out on the battlefield, it turns into a fucking Benny Hill skid. Okay? Except with a lot more intestines and guts flying around. This is the reality, is that Ukraine has been able to hold back supposedly one of the world's strongest militaries, using table scraps from Europe and the United States. And nobody does it better than Ukraine, than the Ukrainian military. Nobody would have been able to achieve this. I can't think of it. I can't even believe it now. Half their troops are running around with Cold War era weapons. They're firing fucking artillery straight out of the Cold War. Completely decimated the Russian Navy. Without an official navy of their own. Utilizing new technology. Right. Obviously, the timing is good for Ukraine when it came to the drone tech. Okay, but it was up to them on how they used it. So this is the reality of the situation. None of course, because we live in a hell world, reality doesn't matter. But there's always the chance that Donald Trump just chickens out anyway. Because Zelensky isn't going to back down. He's not going to kiss the ring. You know, he's saying, you know, he's trying to open the door to some kind of ceasefire negotiations by saying, no, we're only going to negotiate the territory that you've taken. We're not going to negotiate territory that you want. Welcome back, Ice King. You know, because the idea is that he wants to secure some kind of ceasefire so that he can get a fucking break, so that his military can get a break for a couple weeks. You know, he knows that would give Russia a break as well. But Putin understands that the more relentless, the harder he can go, the more that he doesn't stop and just continue wave after wave after wave. Putin and Russia understand that as long as they don't stop and keep applying pressure to Ukraine, there's a good chance that they can continue that they can break them. Basically, a ceasefire would help Ukraine more than it would help Russia. And that's, of course, you know, Putin would never do it. He would never do it unless he himself was like in a position where he had to. Anyway, I reported on a couple months ago Ukraine breaking the sniper distance length record. Well, they broke it again. And look at the operation. Look at the sniping operation here. That they set up. It's really cool. You know, the guy that's shooting isn't even reloading, right? Because he would have to like remove his eye from the scope and everything. So the guy's just totally locked in, and then he's got his buddy loading for him. That's probably normal protocol, but it's just cool to see it in action. Hanging on by a thread economically, not my words. Yeah, well, I mean, we've been hearing that. How long have we been hearing that? China's got their back. India's got their back. You know, we've been hearing, oh, the economy, and then of course Trump is easing sanctions. He's doing what he can to help them along. Didn't he put them back in SNAP or whatever the fuck? What is it called? That global trade, that really important global trade system. Yeah, they've been saying shit's fucked for at least a year now. Feels like it, at least. But with India and China having their back, and now America having Russia's economy's back, shit's fucked. I don't know. They could probably just lie their way through it until shit's not as fucked. Now, kind of not the Russian ones. Okay. Well, believe it when I see it, man. Because that's what we've been hearing, that they're out of ammo, that they're out of tanks, that they're out of gear. Right? No, they're not. We've been hearing that their economy's about to take a dump. No, it isn't. So far. Right? People are eating bootleg McDonald's and wearing bootleg Chanel. Nobody's protesting. There's no major protest movement in Russia right now.
Hello everyone. So yesterday a video was shared showing Ukraine breaking the record for the longest range sniper
fucking
shot.
depressing,
I'm going to
man.
play the video without me talking. It's been subtitled by world translators on Twitter.
Азимут 193. Пострел.
What is that? Is that like a recoilless rifle? What the fuck is that thing? It looks like a big pipe. It's like a big fucking pipe, basically.
Время.
Bam. Bam. So hitting that. That's the spot that he's aiming for.
So this was carried out
There's
near
personnel in
Pokrovsk
there,
at a
Russian
distance
personnel.
of 4,000 meters using AI-assisted targeting and
4,000
an alligator
meters.
sniper.
4,000 meters. AI assisted. It's quite literally a recoilless rifle. Well, really, that's what it is. It looks like a big fucking pipe, dude. I love it. I love it, dude. I love how like the most badass weapons are just these big industrial fucking chunks of metal.
Rifle. The previously known longest shot was 3,800 meters,
Wow,
also by a Ukrainian
4,000
soldier. In today's
fucking
video,
meters. So
the
there you
bullet is
go.
reportedly...
I mean, so there you go. That's the reality of the situation, is that Ukraine is absolutely fucking boot stomping Russia every step of the way. And if it just wasn't for Trump and Biden and just how bad the whole situation in the United States is, we could have had this wrapped up last year, man. But no, we gotta be pussies. Or in the other case with fucking Trump, we gotta be idiots who want to bootlick Putin for a fucking hotel. Ooh, we can call it Moscow, Trump, Moscow. Maybe let's do Trump in the first. Yeah, Trump, Moscow. Oh, okay. Everything will be gilded with gold. I want gold everywhere. If you Google recoilless rifle, the results are lead pipes that split armor-piercing butt plugs. All right. Okay. Well, now we got to cover Gaza. Yeah, you think I'm having fun? Look at this. Look at this fucking guy. So this is the finance minister, Benzel Smotrich. You might have heard his name mentioned a few times on the stream. And here he is. It's just quote unquote, we conquer, cleanse, and stay. Literally the kind of shit evil supervillains say. On the way, we annihilate everything that still remains. The IDF leaves nothing standing. We're breaking Gaza apart, leaving it as a pile of rubble. Total unprecedented destruction. So I'm
cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
At this point, even mentioning that these things exist is anti-Semitic at this point, right? Oh, and don't worry, I might get my ass hauled off into fucking jail soon for even daring to talk about anything like this. Trump is desperately trying to make it illegal for Americans to have an opinion about Zionism, about Israel. That isn't fucking that. Unless you're fucking slob and knob, you know, then keep your mouth shut, or you're gonna get hauled off. That's the setup that they want to create. If you translate Israeli ministers' quotes from their native language, you can quite literally see how they are what they are supposed to destroy. Yeah, no, I mean, like there's. What is he supposed to do? Like walk up to the camera and say, I want to kill every Palestinian? You know what I mean? Like cleanse, annihilate, split apart. And like this guy's a fucking hair's away, hair's length away from power, from like being in BBC. Like him and Ben-Gvir are like applying mega pressure to replace Bibi and put Ben-Gvir in charge. And these two are like, you know, two peas in a pod. I got to go do some laundry really quick, 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
מבצעית שונה לחלוטין ממה שהיה בעבר. לא עוד פשיטות עם כניסות ויציאות, אנחנו כובשים, מטהרים ונשארים עד להשמדת חמאס. בדרך אנחנו משמידים את כל מה שעוד נשאר מהרצועה, פשוט, כי הכל שם זו עיר טרור אחת גדולה. במסגרת המלחמה צה"ל מניע אוכלוסייה מאזורי הלחימה ולא משאיר אבן על אבן. אני אומר לכם, פשוט תסתכלו על הסרטונים של מה שקורה ברצועת עזה. האוכלוסייה תגיע לדרום הרצועה ומשם בעזרת השם למדינות שלישיות. במסגרת תוכנית הנשיא טראמפ זה שינוי של מהלך ההיסטוריה, לא פחות. מינימום נדרש שיגיע לאוכלוסייה, פשוט כדי שהעולם לא יעצור אותנו ויאשים אותנו בפשעי מלחמה. צה"ל סוף סוף מנהל מערכה נגד השלטון האזרחי של חמאס, ולא מתמקד רק בתשתית הצבאית. אנחנו מחסלים שרים ופקידים וחלפנים וגורמים במערך הכלכלי והשלטוני של חמאס. במשך 1.5 חודשים לא הכנסנו סיוע הומניטרי לרצועת עזה. זה יצר לחץ גדול מאוד על חמאס, וטוב שכך. אבל גם לחץ צריך לדעת לבסט כדי שהוא לא יתפוצץ לנו בפנים. כשצה"ל חזר בימים האחרונים לתמרן בכל הכוח כדי לכבוש את רצועת עזה, שצה"ל מניע אוכלוסייה מהמקום שבו עוד היה לה קצת אוכל, והידידים הכי גדולים שלנו בעולם, אלה שתומכים בנו, אלה שמבינים שאנחנו לא יכולים לעצור רגע לפני הניצחון המוחלט והשמדת חמאס. כשהם מבקשים מאיתנו לעזור להם, לעזור לנו, ולהזים את שקרי ההרעבה, אנחנו צריכים לעשות את זה. מה שייכנס בימים הקרובים זה מעט שבמעט. כמה מאפיות שמחלקות פיתות לאנשים, ומטבחים ציבוריים שנותנות מנה יומית של אוכל מבושל. אזרחים בעזה יקבלו פיתה וצלחת אוכל, וזהו. זה בדיוק מה שאנחנו רואים בסרטונים, אנשים עומדים בתור ומחכים שכן, ימזגו להם לצלחת, איזה
Right, you get the fucking point, dude. You get the fucking point. About armor-piercing butt plugs, those are specifically heat rounds. Right, so, you know, the bullet that's coming into the location that they were shooting is basically spalling out. Spalding, is that the word? Spalding out. Just like exploding with shrapnel everywhere. So it's like a heated round. So once it hits its target, it's this fucking, you know, flying metal fragments everywhere in the room, right? Hello, how was life in new Nazi Germany? Which one? I'm sorry, which one? America or Israel? Which one? Hey, Clutch Cargo, for the record, I did do laundry and then I smoked some weed, okay? Oh, the USA. Yeah, well, we're now, every American is now obliged to blow Vladimir Putin. We all have to fillet Russia now, like our dear leader. The northwestern one. Oh, that one. Oh, okay. So Israelis, there's a historic amount of Israelis that are not standing up for Palestinian human rights, that are understanding that the final remaining hostages are about to be slaughtered. I really need to smoke or I'm gonna stroke out from stress. Yeah, dog. I mean, look, I don't recommend anybody get addicted to anything here, but I'm going to be taking a break on weed very soon, and I'm not looking forward to it. I'm fucking dreading it. It's like going to the doctor times 10, because it's such a wonderful vice. It's like a warm blanket. Marijuana. I mean, but anyway, there's a historic amount of Israelis protesting this, and once again, they're not protesting specifically because it's horrific and disgusting. I will point out, and Democracy Now! Has pointed out, that there is a very small group. So you'll see these incredibly large protests. There'll be a couple hundred Israelis holding up pictures of dead Gazan children and are standing up for Palestinian human rights. Those people do exist. It's a minority of a minority, right? Think of like the Quakers. For peace in the United States, right? Like a very small group of people that are standing up, couple hundred, right? And that's why I always want to point them out, because those people are real heroes. You're in the fucking heart of it, the heart of hatred, as the heart of rage, as Anthem puts it. God, that fucking video game. It's like it's eating my fucking brain. It's so bad. It's probably making me into a worse writer. wow, deviation. Anyway, I like to point out that within the group of protesters here, there are a few hundred protesters standing up for Palestinian human rights. Grand majority of them are about the hostages, and a good majority of the people protesting couldn't give a shit about Palestine, Palestinians, if Palestine exists or not, doesn't give a flippin' flap. Okay, that needs to be pointed out. But anyway, I'm going to show you some clips here. Historically large protests, mainly against Bibi, mainly about the hostages. Once again, not so much about, you know, the tens of thousands of children that have been murdered. The IDF is sniping children in their genitals. That was reported on just a couple days ago. These things are really happening. Some of the most sickest shit I've ever heard in my life. Okay, and I'm like reading through some of the worst things ever written to do research for this book that I'm trying to fucking. This book, I need to learn how to write before I even start writing this book. Like the subject matter is so hard to write. Like I need to do it justice. So, but anyway, I've been doing a lot of research on some of the sickest shit ever written, and IDF takes the cake, dude. IDF over here blowing them out the water, dude. Marquis de Sade over here taking notes. For real. Anyway, protests. What will become of it? I'm not quite sure, because Bibi is not a political lightweight, and he's not going to be pushed around very easily. That motherfucker's going to have to be dragged out of there kicking and screaming. Straight up. Like, he's not going to leave unless he absolutely super duper has to. You see what happened 5 days ago? Trump's secret police call ICE protests outside knee on her neck. I did not see that, Nova Rider, but I do have an ICE section here, so... actually, no, I did report on this one. Yeah, this... Yep, I did report on this one. Yes, I did. Yeah. Real quick, we can show the footage here.
Get off her head!
Yeah.
Get off me! Get off your knee! Get off your...
So technically, he's not doing a George Floyd, and thank God, because this is an elderly woman. And no offense to this woman, sorry, but this is a woman, you know, who is seasoned, and he's not putting his full weight. I think it's disgusting. I think it's fascistic. I think it's tyrannical. I'm not going to dishonestly compare it, though, to George Floyd, because there was a huge difference. George Floyd was over here like, bitch, he's like putting his whole fucking body into it, and you could see that. And he did that for 10 minutes, right? So that's not the case here. With that said, fascistic, tyrannical. These people are masked up. What do you got? Your fucking T-shirt pulled up there? It looks like they look like terrorists. They are terrorists. He does have his fucking T-shirt pulled up over his fucking face. Okay? Disgusting in every single way. But is this George Floyd? No. It will turn into George Floyd, though, because Donald Trump is going to say, go harder. You can shoot people. You can actually, I'm going to make it so that if someone is holding up a camera phone, you can beat them. You can hurt them. That's the next step. So we're not at George Floyd yet, but we're almost there. We're right there. And it's disgusting. We should all be disgusted. And quite frankly, people should be standing up. And like, look, I understand you don't want to get in between the cops and the person, right? And touch cops and stuff, but you know, block traffic, right? That like make you and a crowd of people make a massive nuisance, and of course, get as much of it on camera as you can. You got to give him the Elon salute, Nova Rider. It's not the Nazi salute; it's the Elon salute, buddy. Protests. Someone give those ICE assholes some soup for their families. All right, let's keep the rhetoric down, guys. Okay, look, I don't know what I agree with anymore. Okay, because we're up against fascism, and fascism doesn't play nice. Okay, but I do know the rules on Twitch, and the rules on Twitch are pretty fucking clear. All right, don't make me get into it. All right, don't get me in trouble. If you want to see the news underground, don't get my ass in trouble. Be careful with your rhetoric here. Oh, well, self-censorship. This is the fucking corporate nightmare that we have to live with. If you want to fix it, we need to get into control here. We have to get politically in control if we want to have the kind of free speech that we all know is what we deserve. Right? We got to play this game. We got to play it right. So once again, like I said, it's a damn shame. A lot of these people protesting don't give a flying fuck about Palestinians, you know? It's about Bibi. It's about the hostages. And, you know, so... so here you go. Yeah, kill. And, of course, plenty of Israelis that are, you know, kill them all. You know, what is the Hannibal Directive? The Hannibal Directive is okay. Kill your own citizens. You know, it's let the hostages die as long as we're eradicating Palestinians. That's okay. We'll build a statue for him later. And of course, it's not happening to them. None of her family, none of her relatives are getting killed or slaughtered. So really easy to advocate for that kind of stuff. These people always exist. And they will always exist, okay, in any society, you know, but that's what makes democracy the best worst system. If democracy is working appropriately, she gets her voice, her disgusting opinions. She gets to be wrong on everything, and she gets a vote. But so does everyone else, right? And the only time when they win is when they've subverted democracy, when they've ruined that balance. And of course that's intentional, right? That's the only time that they win. And of course, what are we seeing Donald Trump doing? Heavy focus on the electoral system. Got to make sure that it's always leaning right. Nova Writer, that's understandable, to see this kind of stuff and to become cynical. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of cynicism. It can be a good bullshit detector. When you have completely embraced cynicism and subsumed yourself in cynicism, that's basically just nihilism. And you've basically accepted defeat. So if you want to be defeated, you can continue to be defeated. But I must tell you, being defeated is a choice. There are other ways. You can fight. It ain't pretty, and there's a lot of risks, but so is being defeated. It's shameful, and you could still get your ass kicked. You could still lose everything. Like, there's no guarantee you get to keep anything if you capitulate. There is a chance you get to keep everything and then some if you fight, though. You know, I would really like these people to be caring about Palestinian human rights. But a good chunk of them don't care about Palestinians. God. Because none of these people, a good chunk of these people wouldn't be protesting if Hamas had just given up all of their hostages. Oh, by the way, they're also Hamas supporters and anti-Semites.
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
It doesn't stop.
לא רק שמקשיחים את עמדת החמאס ומרחיקים את שחרור חטופינו, הם גם מבטיחים שזוועות השבעה באוקטובר יחזרו על עצמם שוב ושוב, ושבנינו ובנותינו.
Kids in daycare, we're doing well, Nova Writer. Thank you for asking. He's only in daycare for five hours a day, Monday through Friday, and it's really good for him. It's good for his social skills and whatnot, and he desperately needs exposure to other kids. It's so embarrassing when I get those kick messages. I would never, okay, first of all, I would never pay for views because I'm broke and it's embarrassing. But two, I would never in a million fucking years pay for views on kick.com. I mean, never. Okay? And Kick is an up and comer.
I'm gonna come.
It's a comer. It's a Kick is coming. This monstrous Frankensteinian woman continues to prove just how disgusting she truly is. When she's not giving rim jobs to your favorite boy,
Bitch.
She's over here cutting off medical visas from Gaza. So Trump cuts off the medical visas after a Laura Loomer meltdown. So Trump was, all right, we're going to help some sick kids, whatever. I don't give a shit. Maybe it'll help me. And Laura Loomer intervenes to the rescue. Laura Loomer to the rescue to ensure that sick Gazan children don't get help. Donald Trump stopped all visas from Gaza, including for humanitarian and medical aid, after Laura Loomer freaked out about children getting care. Great job, Laura. Great job. I mean, she looks so fucking freakish. Am I wrong about this? I'm sorry to comment on her looks. She looks. It looks like, like White Girls. It looks like fucking White Girls, the movie. You know what I'm talking about? She over here looking like White Girls. Let's see here. Right? Look at this. Look familiar? Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is not only because I hate her guts, right? And she's a disgusting person. But in this case, the outside really does reflect what's happening on the inside. What's happening on the outside is a reflection of the mental derangement happening on the inside here. Who wants to look like this? With that said, my wife was telling me that there's some amazing innovations in the plastic surgery space that has young women encouraged to start plastic surgery in their late 30s. Oh, yeah. So the United States sent back a actual legit pedophile back to Israel because, it's anti-Semitic to point out crimes that Israeli people commit. Here's Cenk Uygur, who, by the way, just a reminder, last weekend I so far have not seen any comments about his new sponsorship with a company that is associated with Peter Thiel, some kind of retirement thing. What was it called? Gathering or some shit. The only thing I've seen the last couple weeks was him and Anna having a brief discussion justifying why it's okay for them to take money but criticize, corporate media. And I kind of agree with their stance because it's like, look, you got to make some money, you got to sustain yourself. And technically having a sponsorship, right? I'm sponsored by Garbage Fuel. It's not like I repeat their, horrific opinions. I mean, they're over here talking about, we need to euthanize 97% of human beings, turn them into garbage fuel to sell to the 3% that are still alive. I don't believe in that. But, I do take a sponsorship from Garbage Fuel. Of course, they haven't paid me, and they keep threatening me. But still, right? Like, I can understand that. At the same time, I feel like in this case, because Peter Thiel is the enemy of humanity, and I don't think I'm exaggerating, he was literally asked, about being the Antichrist, and he couldn't really give us a good answer. He's like evading that, about his AI being the Antichrist. He was asked about the existence of mankind, I think, or the existence of humanity. Couldn't give a straight answer on that. He's a extremely evil person right out in the open. Plus garbage. It's essential to keep. There has to be zero nutrients in it, and really to get the taste correct, several preservatives that have slowly turned into poison over time are included as well. Look, the most important ingredient is locally sourced garbage juice, okay? From local dumpsters. We try to go after the fast food ones first, right? We avoid the ones from mechanic shops. Gotten into a lot of trouble with mercury, okay? So we're doing the best to avoid part shops, right? Pawn shops. We're not getting garbage juice out of those dumpsters anymore. We're going to the Arby's. Juice. If we can get like a juicery dumpster, those are pretty hard to find though. Anyway, shock release. Accused Israeli predator walks free. This is now sponsored by Garbage Fuel, who is, of course, agrees with this. They sent me a text last night. They said, make sure you report on this and let people know that we totally agree with this and Donald Trump is based. So there we go. Thank you, Garbage Fuel. I think America turned into Book 1984. No, I mean, it's a mixture of Brave New World and 1984. It's bits and pieces from Brave New World in 1984. It's not, it's a new flavor of dystopia, and this is actually the subject of the book that I'm researching. Is this new style of dystopia?
All right, we caught a Israeli cyber directorate employee, a very senior one, Tom Alexandrovich. According to Vegas and FBI authorities, he was part of a cyber sex ring. Cool. He came here for a cybersecurity conference and decided to use it as an opportunity for sexual tourism.
Cool. So, cool.
According to the authorities.
Cool.
So he thought, oh, while I'm here, I might as well rape American children. It doesn't matter. I'm an Israeli government official. There'll be no consequences. Well, was he right? Well, in the beginning, it looked like he was wrong. FBI and Vegas police do a terrific job of busting him and 7 other guys. The other guys, to my knowledge, have nothing to do with Israel. Okay? So, where did the story go wrong? Well,
Clutch Cargo, you're watching it. You're watching it right fucking now, buddy. This is it. The constant stream of distraction and entertainment is the Soma.
We let him go. He was right. We let him go. He went back to Israel. Will not face justice.
That's anti-Semitic.
Israel is aware of this. Jerusalem Post has written about it, and he works under Benjamin Netanyahu for the Israeli Cyber Directorate.
Yeah, this
he
is a
has
good
won
thing.
An award for the
Hold on. Let's fair and balanced. What does Barry Weiss have to say about this? Hey Barry Weiss. Wait, where'd she go? Barry, where'd you go? Barry. What's your opinion on this? Anomalous behavior. He wasn't convicted, or he actually was. Yeah. Barry, where are you at?
Defense Prize. He's one of the creators of Cyberdome. So they say, oh, well, we've given him
cool
a leave. Oh, a vacation. Oh, so he got a vacation. Has he?
Well, I mean, look, guys, if we're totally cool with the IDF sniping Palestinian boys in the testicles, we're really going to trip about, what we're talking about here? Right? Fucking. They've killed tens of thousands of children intentionally. I have clips of them intentionally targeting, like intentionally, oh, there's a child, boom. So are we shocked by this? They're also right-wingers. There's a connection there as well. So, yeah, there's probably a lot of this going on. Yo, you know who I want to look at? Web history. I don't want to look at them, but I want to look at their web history. Ben-Gvir, dude. Ben-Gvir. That guy's spooky. Something's going on with that. I've told you, he looks like the guy from Human Centipede 2. Don't make me show you a picture. Just trust me. But he looks like the sweaty fucking guy who was like trying to pay homage to the first guy in Human Centipede 1.
Been arrested? No. Have we asked for extradition? No. We're the ones who let him go in the first place.
Awesome.
So I guess they're not wrong.
We'd be anti-Semitic not to.
You can come here and you can do whatever you want, and there's going to be no consequences.
Yeah, Kronos is right.
And we're not controlled by Israel.
We got a little Fahrenheit 451 in here, too.
Who's ridiculous enough, naive enough, stupid enough, ignorant enough to think that we're not
No, all the great dystopian writers were right in their own way about a lot of things, but of course none of them nailed it perfectly. No, and it's because Trump, it's like no one nailed Trump. Nobody. Like, Woke Patriot was nice enough to point out this character from like French literature, like Tartuffe or something, that kind of has shades of Trump, but really, no, I've never, in my experience at least, and I'm not fully well read here. Woke Patriot certainly is. But the guy doesn't exist in literature. Like, he's just like, this is a brand new thing, this technology allowing for stupidity to become replaced, stupidity to replace, fact and reality. And I'm not giving it the correct words. I would really need to sit down here and really think about, all the, philosophically, like with the damage that Donald Trump has done. And, because there's so many evil characters in literature, like the sheriff, from what's that fucking Meridian book there, Blood Meridian. There's Hannibal Lecter. Donald Trump's a big fan. And one thing is like they're usually like really, really smart. They're really, really smart. I can't think of a bad guy. No, I mean, Idiocracy is almost naive and innocent compared to the evil, pedophilia deviance of Donald Trump and what he's creating. The fucking Camacho, he was a porn star, but he wasn't, diddling kids and squirreling away money. He was like, he was trying to win the approval of the people. He was just too stupid to do so. And as soon as he found a smart guy, he's like, yeah, bring this guy in. We got a bunch of problems I want to fix. But what if Camacho was a kid diddling greedy bastard that kind of like got a kick out of seeing things break and dissolve and destroy, right? As long as he's doing it. Yeah, Camacho's a much better leader than Donald Trump, right? No, it's a fucking nightmare, man. Because it's not even Idiocracy; it's something new. It's more deviant and psychosexual and ignorant.
Controlled by Israel, when their government officials can come here, attempt to rape our children, and we just let them go. There's you know that there was hundreds of Israeli spies after 9/11 that we gathered up, along with, by the way, the bin Ladens. So it doesn't really matter which foreign government it is. As long as they bribe enough American politicians, we work for them. So right after 9/11, we let the bin Ladens fly back to Saudi Arabia, and the Israeli spies we caught, we rounded up. Instead of saying, hey, what the hell are you guys doing here? Well, were you involved? I don't know. I have no idea. But none of us will know. Why? They were immediately sent right back to Israel. Who catches spies in there?
Nova Writer, I would say a year and a half, because he's going to be, he's got to hit the big, I talked about this yesterday or the day before. He's got to hit the big dogs first. MSNBC, CNN, right? MSNBC is now changing to MS Share, it's unbelievably embarrassing. Let me get to the story here. But yeah, MSNBC, I mean, they're changing, right? But so he's got to hit those first. But you can guarantee Jeff Bezos, who's your buddy, who's buddies with Donald Trump, and Mark Zuckerberg, buddies with Donald Trump, the fucking guy from Google, Sergey something, whatever the fuck, friends with Donald Trump. Yeah, we're next. So I would say a year and a half to 2 years. Hassan, the propaganda campaign against Hassan, calling him a terrorist and whatnot, even though because he's just a bonehead that uses slightly extreme rhetoric sometimes in a juvenile manner, right? Like he's absolutely not a terrorist, right? He's just a fucking dunderhead sometimes. But he absolutely does not advocate for terrorism, et cetera, et cetera. But that campaign is going to be successful. It's of course being led by Destiny and Ethan Klein. It's not just Destiny and Ethan Klein though, because what they're doing is that they're the lapdogs for a massive $1 billion oligarchy that doesn't really like what Hassan is saying either. Apparently, he was not allowed to go to the streamer games because AT&T is sponsoring it, and of course AT&T doesn't.
Cool it with the anti-Semitic
You got to support a
remarks.
genocide, or else you're the bad guy, right? That's AT&T stance, of course.
Our country.
So to answer your question, Overrider, year and a half, 2 years, I predict, maybe sooner. Maybe sooner. We'll see. The midterms are really going to be, the focus is obviously on the midterms. And we might see a lot of like, shut it off, cut it off, like they do in Turkey or they do in fucking Cuba, right? They just shut off the internet and they just cut off everyone's access to social media. We might see Trump get that desperate, so he might accelerate the censorship program. But rest assured, the censorship program's in place. Everything's going to be replaced with Palantir. Ombudsmen, like the ones that they're installing in CBS, are going to be the norm, right? These propaganda, opinion managers to make sure that, you have the right opinion, that you're being quote unquote fair to Donald Trump.
And then sends them back to the country that sent them in the first place. What kind of a ludicrous thing is that to do? Unless your government is not really your government, it's controlled by the other government.
No.
That's why you let government officials go, that if they're Israeli and charged with horrific crimes.
Look it up. Blessed up kid. Am I lying to you? You know what I'm saying? Type that shit into Google, man.
Crimes against American kids. You allow them to do whatever the hell they did with Epstein, if that's the case. I don't know. I met with the Israeli Prime Minister 30 times at a giant Israeli map in his house. His co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell. Her dad was a legendary Israeli spy, Robert Maxwell, who stole America's nuclear secrets, and he still walked around. They allow, and then we give them $310 billion. Okay, so this is absurd. We're going to have more on this Monday at 6 o'clock. I just did a live video about it on our YouTube channel, The Young Turks, obviously. Go check it out, because it is blood boiling.
Yeah. Look, hate or love Cenk Uygur. I'm right down the middle. Right? I have a lot of respect for this man. But once again, bro, I think he should have, because he's the kind of guy that is okay to have disagreement on his network. I think he should have a gadfly like me or someone else come in and just say, hey, what's up with this Peter Thiel thing? Can you make a couple comments on that? People are talking about that. And then he can do his fucking angry diatribe, but it's like, can you at least address the fact that you're being sponsored by a company that Peter Thiel invests in, right? And just tell people, you don't want Peter Thiel to win, right? At least let us know you're not down with Peter Thiel, because I don't think Cenk Uygur's down with Peter Thiel, right? But what I was getting at is that this is a hardworking man, okay? This motherfucker's pumping out content. He's got a show. He's got a show in 30 minutes. He's got to get in his car and get to a studio and do a whole fucking 5-6 hours of play. But he's like, he got his fucking camera out. Blah, 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 blah. Guy's working hard, okay? He's a hardworking man. Okay, so here's another example. I have actually several clips and images in the Gaza section. I don't know if I'll have time to get to that actual Gaza section that I have over here, filled with more nightmares. But just videos of children being directly targeted and murdered by the IDF. So this is by Al Jazeera here. Exclusive footage newly obtained by Al Jazeera captures the harrowing moment an Israeli drone-fired missile killed a Palestinian girl carrying water in Jabalia, northern Gaza, in December 2024. 2 men are later seen retrieving her body. Tommy Victor, who gives Elon Musk $5 a month, says some shit, but he gives Elon Musk $5 a month, so whatever. So here's what I was talking about. Off-world colonists, welcome back. It's good to see you. What's going on? Genocide. So, there's no other way to put it. So anyway, this is what I was referencing. I was talking about this a little earlier, a couple minutes ago. Federal court says attacking Star of David is racial discrimination. Right. Okay.
Cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks.
Not political protest. Setting legal standard for future cases involving anti-Zionist targeting of Jews. So, yeah, of course they have. Yeah, every single thing is Hamas's fault. In fact, the opinions that you are forming right now are Hamas's fault. That's how powerful and strong they are. But they're also incredibly weak, and we're going to crush them any minute. but this is setting up the legal justification to say, you know, any criticism of Israel is anti-Semitic, you know, that, and also to kind of enshrine into law the false connection between Judaism and Zionism. Israel, since its inception, one of the big goals of the Zionist regime is to conflate Zionism with Judaism, right? That everything Israel does is Jewish, and you know everything that they're doing is for Judaism. They are the center of Judaism. They represent all of Judaism, and honestly, that couldn't be farther from the truth. You know, the more I realize, the more I find out about this, the more I realize there are millions of Jewish people that vehemently disagree with Zionism and the goals of Zionism. Maybe they're not, you know, marching down the streets, you know, chanting against Zionism, but you know, if someone were to walk up to them and say, you know, do you think, you know, that Israel represents, you know, Judaism in every way, they would have pretty big disagreements, mainly because of the violations that the government, you know, commits, you know, to the Torah, right? There's all kinds of rules that you're actually not supposed to hurt people. I don't know. I don't know if you guys knew that. That's in there. I'm sure that's in there because it's in every religious text, is that you're not supposed to hurt people. Whatever, though. So here we go. This is, you know, this is going to make it even harder. You know, and what's the result of something like this after it kind of blows up and turns into something else? Is that, and we're going to have to do, you know, we're going to have to Roblox this and just say, you know, a certain country in the middle, like we won't be able to say Israel. We won't be able to say Zionism. We won't be able to show a Star of David. You know, we'll just have to see, you know, a certain country in the Middle East is, you know, currently invading Palestine, etc. Like we'll have to tiptoe around this in certain ways because the monitors and the bad actors, of course, will be, you know, eager to click that report button and get your ass sent to the banishment bin. You know, silence another voice. That's very important to them. They understand that they're not going to be able to change our morality, right? You know, they're never going to be able to convince us that killing children is okay. But they're okay with silencing us. So that's, you know, that's a victory. Oh, wow. Cool. I love clicking on things. All right. So we're actually done with Gaza. Thank fucking God. We're actually done with Gaza. Whew. Big breaths. Big breaths. Wow. 15 viewers. Thank you, folks. That's really cool. Thank you. That's super cool. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate every view. I appreciate every comment. You know, because it helps the algorithm. Every little bit of it, every engagement, everything that you guys do. I do appreciate it. All right, is that 2 spaces or 1? Did I? Oh, that is 2 spaces. Oh, look at that. All right. All right. So this is kind of interesting, and I don't know about this move. You tell me if you think this is a good idea. Like, I understand that they were going to be splitting up. So MSNBC here is going to be dropping the peacock logo, this logo up in the top left that you see here, and they're changing to this. This is the new MSNBC, guys. Do I have the? Oh, here we go. Welcome to the future of news. This is what news MSNBC is going to look like now. Just super cool. Looks great. Please continue to watch Rachel Maddow once a week on our network. This is the place where you can watch Chris Hayes. You can watch Chris Hayes here now. Yeah, it's like, it does. It looks like the Newsmax, like this farted out fucking, you know, AI. Like, I understand, like, you got to go in a different direction. Okay, you're splitting up from Paramount or whatever, Comcast, whatever the hell, you're splitting up, right? So you got to go in a different direction. But this? And tell me how much they spent on this. Tell me how much they spent on this. How much? Throw the numbers in the chat. I'm going to say 1.2 million fucking dollars.
I'm a Luigi.
Okay? 1.2 million. That's my guess. That they spent on this, like, you know, hiring a team. MS Meow? Meow Network? 2 minutes and some AI knowledgeable intern. 1.5 million, but it was 750 worth of work. Yeah, look, and no offense to, like, this is graphical design. This stuff is difficult, okay? And, like, you know, it does take money and it does take talent to rebrand, okay? So, like, it's worth it, right? Sometimes. But this is it? Because, like, the artists and the creatives that created this, they probably gave the people running this all kinds of options. And this is the one that they picked, okay? This is what your average, bog standard, rich, neoliberal thinks looks good, right? It looks like something like a pamphlet you'd see at a fucking hospital, right? And I'm not saying news has to be exciting or anything, even though I do a pretty exciting news show if I say so myself. But this is what the neoliberal establishment thinks is eye-catching, right? This is why they get in front of the camera and say you should vote for Pete Buttigieg and he's a great choice for president, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know. Good luck to them. Actually, no. Fuck off. Fuck off and die, MSNBC. How about you fuck off and die? How about you crawl into a fucking gutter and die like a dead fucking animal? MSNBC or MS Now. How about that? Waste of fucking time and space. All this money, right? They have all this staff, the research staff, the journalists, and they work overtime to not talk about certain things or to talk about certain things in a way that leaves off massive chunks of context. You know, like we just woke up from a coma and this is how things are. We just accept them. Oh, we don't want to be seen as partisan. And then when they try to be partisan, when they try to add a little flavor to it, it's embarrassing. Because they're still within these artificial limitations that they've created for themselves. So it's just a lot of snappy sass. No chutzpah, no sack. Just a lot of finger snapping. So this is a cool HuffPost article by Paul Blumenthal. Who the hell is this guy? Senior reporter. Based in Washington, D.C. So he's one of the guys that thinks Washington, D.C. is a total hellhole and is being rescued and saved by Donald Trump, right? But no, so this article just gets into, we've talked about this before, but Donald Trump hopes labeling everything as national security is a get-out-of-court free card. So, you know, executive orders, you know, everything's a national emergency, which, you know, apparently allows because it's such a nebulous term, it's flexible. And the court actually kind of treats it with some deference because, you know, we used to have somewhat of a functioning system. Yeah, well, successfully, Kronos. So, you know, it's a like, well, just do what I say because it's an emergency. Pretty wild shit, actually. Some of the stuff that he's declared an emergency. See if I can find it. Okay. Somewhere in here is a list of some of the things that he's tried to pass or that he has passed, like cuts to agencies and stuff justified as national security threat. Yeah, somewhere in here. Anyway, you can read the article if you want, but we already know what this is, right? He's just any excuse. Supreme Court says he can do whatever the hell he wants, and he's going to absolutely do that. You know, unlike Joe Biden, who's a fucking leadership vacuum, who's on autopilot. Joe Biden's he's got coat hangers in his fucking suit there. Some aide in the back pulling some levers. So she's, I mean, Janine Pirino here, Pirro, all on board for the fascist dictatorship. You know, repeating the you know exactly what the administration wants to hear. So here she is saying, we got to change the laws. We got to get liberal judges. We've got liberal judges. We've got liberal laws. Everything is going to change. President Trump knows what he's doing. So just, you know, replace everything with partisan activists, completely gut our justice system. And how many times did this skanky bitch say the word lawfare in reference to Joe Biden and fucking creaky crypt keeper Merrick Garland doing jack shit about Donald Trump? It's lawfare. It's lawfare. At six fucking glasses of wine. It's lawfare. Fucking skin melting off her face, South Park style. And here she is. Yeah, fascism's not so bad. I mean, it's benefiting me. That was delayed. Janine Pirro is exactly what happens when self-hatred goes out of control. She's the worst type of New Yorker. Yeah, I bet she's got some great opinions about pizza. This guy's funny. If you don't know what's going on over here in Canada, there's a massive strike with our airline, Air Canada. And they're striking for the right reason. This is absolutely ridiculous. Imagine this, folks. Most people don't know this. You know, the airline attendants, you know, the nice men and women and they and thems who, you know, help you with snacks and get you secure, and you know, in case there's a major emergency, they risk their own lives to make sure that there's order on the plane and everyone's getting off the plane, et cetera, et cetera. Well, they only get paid when the plane is in the air. So all that time, no problem, Kronos. All that time spent on the runway, helping people get their luggage in, helping people get situated, doing the whole song and dance of, you know, buckle your seatbelt, kiddies, you know, here's, in case we all die, here's how you get some oxygen. As long as those wheels are on the ground, those people are not getting compensated for the time they're at work. So we're talking hundreds of hours a month stolen from these people, okay? If you're working in some case, you know, and like every delay, every time that plane is delayed on the runway, they're just sitting there, no money, no pay. Ridiculous, right? Totally fucking ridiculous. Imagine if your boss said, yeah, you got to get your ass to the work site, you know, 7 a.m., get your ass out there. But until the backhoe shows up, until somebody with a shovel shows up, we're not going to pay you. It's like, okay, well, yesterday the guy with a shovel showed up at 10 o'clock. Yeah, well, you better be there. Look, you got to be there at 7 o'clock because you got to do a bunch of work. I'm not going to pay you for that work. What do you mean? So I don't even get to just sit there and just wait? No, you got to do a bunch of shit. You got to do all kinds of shit while you're not getting paid before the backhoe gets there, and then I'll start paying you. How, you know, it would be utterly ridiculous and you'd quit on the spot. But for some reason, like, I don't know, some legacy rule that the airline industry has been taking advantage of for decades, these airline attendants don't get paid for like good chunks, like hours and hours and hours, and they're helping people, and you know they're working. They're not in the back there playing Game Boy, because that's what I'd be doing. Yeah, I'll hand out peanuts as soon as the fucking meter starts spinning. Okay, I'm not handing out one single fucking peanut until I get a goddamn peanut of my own. I'm not here for fun. But, you know, that's how they advertise it, by the way. They're like, we want enthusiastic workers who are like fanboys for airline companies, and they believe in the old Pan Am, 1950s Pan Am vision, right? Of the glorious airline industry. Oh, so glamorous and glorious. That's literally how they try to sell it to people in terms of like why it's okay for you to not be paid to be at work. Yeah, John Axel, we spent a good hour covering that at the beginning. But yeah, that's basically my assessment as well. So anyway, pretty fucking ridiculous, right? It's as ridiculous as the whole like waitresses getting paid $2 an hour, but they're supposed to be compensated with tips. Like how the fuck does that work? Highway robbery. So the stewardess, the assistants, these people, not the pilots, I don't think the pilots, but all the assistants are striking. And there's like 2,000 people, at the airport right now stranded. There's people stranded in other countries where their only option is Air Canada. They're like, shut down, right? So that's kind of what's happening right now. This comedian had some comments about that situation. Pretty funny stuff. Have a listen.
Canada people, man. That's tough, man. Feel for you, I really do. I really try to see both sides, But I know you guys are arguing for all these hours that you're working that are unpaid. But it's tough because on the other end, like the CEO, Mark Russo, he gets a salary. And so there are a lot of hours that he works going unpaid and he still only makes $12 million a year. So you can really see both sides there,
Totally, yeah. Both sides, this one for sure. Yeah, no. Very funny stuff. Good. You see, Joe Rogan, it's a setup, a punchline, and a payoff. You see how that works, Joe? Maybe you should listen to Bill Hicks a couple more times, brush up on comedy. It's interesting how you can be funny. You can actually be funny without, making fun of a guy in makeup or something, right? Both sides. He's a hardworking man. He's earned every penny of that $12 million. Blessed up kid. That's the correct emotion, right? That's the correct emotion. Now, it's up to you. Are you going to be constructive with that feeling, with that emotion? Are you going to be constructive with it? That's up to you, right? And that's where the 3-step program comes in. But angry, mad, that's the right emotion. Okay? And motherfuck the people that say it isn't. Okay? Because they're not paying attention. The moment you look into this horror, you better be angry. You're not a moral individual if you're not steaming mad. That's a good point, off-world colonists. Ironically, they're about to get fucking replaced by AI. It's going to be absolutely hilarious. These useless directors, these useless VPs. Oh, I'm a decision maker. I make the hard decisions. Oh, it turns out a robot's way more accurate, and it can actually compile way more data. It's more likely that they're going to make a better decision than you do. Oh, that's ridiculous. You got to have that human touch. Only a human touch is going to be able to fire everybody beneath me and replace them with robots. How dare you think about replacing me with a robot? That's impossible. I can't fucking wait. I'll critique your PowerPoint for some chicken nuggets. Holding up a sign. I'll be the CFO of your company. I only want a $500,000 a year salary. I'll do it on the cheap. We'll downsize your workforce for a cheeseburger. Sorry, robot can do that just as easily and more efficiently, right? And with a higher likelihood of success. Only the human touch can suspend the workers, and yeah, exactly, yeah, because nothing's more welcoming and opening than a cold, hard robot, analyzing how efficient you are and firing you on the spot. Oh, like a big warm hug from HR. You have reduced your performance by 2%. Leave the building immediately. Leave the building immediately. But my child was sick. Now you're both sick. Leave the building immediately. So anyway, in world news here, power generation station in Sana'a, Yemen has been hit by massive explosions. I haven't had a chance to actually cover this. I have several tabs in the world news section about this, but shit's popping off in Yemen. join the Borg. So I know this that says Fascist USA, and this is more world news oriented, but this is just basically the headlines from yesterday and today that I wanted to cover because there's so much fucking news. I can't cram everything into one day on Saturday like that. It's just like, it's just too much. So I need to cover some of this so that I'm not like left, struggling on Saturday. So I'll probably have to do another stream tomorrow, but I really need to work on the garage and finish that project. But there's so much fucking news. I got to catch up. Over to the last, I think this is my second bit of world news, and then we're going to move over to back to the United States here. But mothers in Kordofan village in Sudan are cooking grass to feed their families. So don't worry, there's plenty of suffering still happening all over the world. It's not just Gaza. If you thought you were going to get a break from that. This isn't as disgusting as the African village we saw collecting and eating flies, but it's right up there. Yeah, I'm no fan of spinach, but could you imagine what that would taste like? I cook them for the little ones before they arrive. Leaving them only because we cannot afford flour. Save it for lunch. Ooh, yummy. Right. So with USAID being cut, these are the kind of places that we used to send food, and we used to do that not only for the benefit of starving people, but we would actually do it for the benefit of the United States. Ensuring soft power so that we can work with these nations and exploit them in the future. So now we're rejecting them, and is China's not even interested, I guess, in picking up the slack here. I guess it was really the United States. Does Europe have enough money? Is Europe going to be able to pick up the slack here? But this is that money from USAID and all the other cuts. It was a system that deserved criticism for a myriad of reasons. Right, because instead of the governments of these countries, South Kurdistan, instead of fixing these problems, they just never fix them and just like whatever, the United States will back me up. There'll always be another aid drop, and I can continue to steal. I don't need to install plumbing. I don't need to I don't need to build a school. I don't need to install running water. I don't need to do any of that. I can continue to steal and steal and steal. And the United States will make up the difference. USAID will make up the difference because they're moral and they're not just going to let people starve to death. Well, now we have a completely immoral monster who's totally okay with them starving to death. Rest of the world apparently doesn't care. So here we are. Their leaders have failed them. The world has failed them, and soon they're going to be living in a literal food desert, water desert. No hope, no support. The ones that are strong enough to leave will leave, but a lot of them are not strong enough to leave, and they'll just die right there.
نحن في وضع يعلم يرضي الله وضع حرج أنا ربة منزل والله لا بنلقى حاجة ناكله بناكل الخضار العيش الزرع دي غلبتنا وأنا أطفال أبونا ده مع الحرب مقفول ما عرفنا محل والوضع حرج مرة واحد يوم بنلقى ناكل يوم ما بنلقى نتمنى منكم السعد تسعدونا بأطفالنا ديت والحمد لله يعني صدق غالية انت لو لقيت يعني حاجة
Most of these people look to be in early stages of malnutrition.
والله العيد ده غالي العيد ب 14 يعني وقتها كان مشيت ذاته ومشيت لقيت لك 3 أنت ما بجيب لك ربع بتاع عيش والناس عايشة والله وعفشنا اللي عندنا كله احنا وقعدنا ساعة شيء ما عندنا قاعدين على الله.
Right. I'd recommend against it. I don't know if God is ignoring these people or God thinks this is funny, but either way, he ain't doing shit about it. The thing called God, it either just doesn't care or thinks this is somehow needs to happen. Either way, sounds like a bastard to me. New World Order, Rule 1, everyone gets food and water. It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that. I won't get into it, but it's funny that you say that. Shit enraged me. Africa is the resource bin. Get all the raw materials for cell phones. Yeah, Apple's worth $3 trillion. Africa should at least be as rich as Eastern Europe. Yeah, well, that's neoliberalism said, you know, we'll feed people, but you know, we need to exploit. You know, we're going to continue to exploit. We're not going to actually try to fix the problems in Africa. We're not going to try to stop the exploitation. We're just going to, you know, satiate our own conscience while continuing to just absolutely go hog wild. I'm sure the country is ripe with corruption. I mean, that's, you know, we just talked about that, but yeah, Bound, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like they're failed by their local leaders, they're failed by their national leaders, failed by geopolitically by all the other countries. And the whole USAID system, right? Well, like I said, it was worthy of criticism, but it was like, you know, better than nothing. At least people weren't outright starving to death. But you know, there was no intention. There was no action towards stopping the exploitation. You know, precious minerals still being pulled out of the ground by people in sandals, or children. Because God forbid an African. Yeah, exactly. Off-world colonist. Yeah, same thing with Ethiopia and coffee. Right. Yeah, Bound. Well, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't even know what to say in terms of predicting the future. It's like, I don't even want to get close to that. So I just thought I would show this on screen and then press this button.
I'm Luigi, #1.
Just going to show this on screen. Not really comment on it. I guess I'll just read this quote here from Mangioni's attorney. I don't know, but Supreme Court says billionaires can give tons of... Oh, wait. So Gio Dabati, who gives Elon Musk $5 a month, he said, you know, making fun of CNN here, why are tons of people offering to pay Luigi's legal costs? Mangioni's attorney, I don't know, but Supreme Court says billionaires can give tons of money to candidates, and that's free speech. Maybe these people are exercising their free speech. Pretty interesting. I don't know why anybody would be interested in doing that. Moving on. Riley Gaines, if you don't know who she is, she's an up-and-comer fascist. And the reason why I'm showing you her tweet here, which is, you know, I pledge allegiance to Trump, you know, if you don't agree with Trump, you're a domestic terrorist, you know, shoot all the lefties, kill anybody that disagrees with Trump, kill anybody that disagrees with conservatism in whatever form that takes. I just wanted to remind you that, you know, this is not going to go away with, you know, with boomers dying out and, you know, that generation getting weaker and dying out. Nick won't be happy with that. So I just wanted to remind you that, you know, like, this isn't just it's not cyclical. It's not magic. You know, it's not just like the pendulum's going to swing back kind of shit. You know, it's not going to go away unless we actively defeat it. One of Charlie Kirk's main priorities with TPUSA is getting as many young people, you know, brainwashed as possible. And he's been moderately successful, I would say, but that's, you know, one of the big goals of his organization is getting them as young as possible, because it's understood that, you know, people are more malleable when they're young. You can get them locked in. If you get them locked in really hardcore, it makes it more difficult to change their minds, right? Anyway, just thought to remind you, you know, fascism is not going to go away with the older generation. There will be plenty of young people to pick up the torch, either because they're true believers, and maybe Riley Gaines is a true believer. I don't think so. I think she's a cynical nihilist like Tucker Carlson, who's just trying to get a career, right? Or you're going to get these cynical nihilists, right, that are just like, if I say the right things, if I piss off the right people, I get a media career. It's like magic. And that's, of course, because there's a multi-billion-dollar apparatus to, you know, accelerate and catalyze this, and that doesn't exist on the left. And that's why you have to be a hardworking man like Cenk Uygur or Amy Goodman or David Pakman or Tom Figurino, you know, Tom Hartman, right? You got every single fucking day, every weekends, you know, you got to be 24/7. Kyle Kalinske, another example. Crystal Ball's a hard worker. Sagar's a piece of shit. Just thought I'd remind you. This blew me away. We're still talking about ivermectin over here? What are you talking about? You're giving your kids this shit? It's a dewormer. It's a dewormer. Okay? I blame Joe Rogan. So here's Riley Gaines over here. This is who she is, right? A 5 out of 10 with some makeup on will get you pretty far in the conservative world if you're saying the right fascist shit. So here she is. School's starting, fall's coming. Stay ahead with sickness and keep your immune toolbox stocked with ivermectin. So they have some all-family pharma. Who wants to bet? Who wants to bet this is like out of Abu Dhabi or some shit? Yeah, I think she's the one who said that. Yeah, at the Jubilee, I think if it wasn't her, it was a clone, right? But yeah, we're still doing ivermectin. The company that makes this drug says this doesn't work, and she's not even saying like a COVID now. It's not even COVID. It's just take ivermectin. Bitch, I don't have worms. Okay? Selling ivermectin out of your car like you're giving out your best bets for today's games. Ouch. So it's wild shit. And these people, they're going to grift us right off a cliff, right? This is the JFK mentality, RFK mentality, right? Fake it till you make it, even when you're giving people like legitimately bad, unhealthy medical advice. She's not giving her kids ivermectin. I guarantee it. She's a cynical, nihilistic grifter. She knows ivermectin doesn't do any of that. Doesn't even boost your immune system. It's literally if you have fucking worms. Right? Don't forget your alpha brain. New World Order. I take my alpha brain every single day in the morning before I have sex with my frog boyfriend. Gets me pumped up, gets me thinking about the day, gets me thinking about how I want to defeat New World Order, and then when I make sweet, passionate love to my frog boyfriend, I'm ready for the day. I've changed my mind on that off-world colonist. It's my sexual kink to drink gay frog water. So, I've changed my mind on that. I've evolved, I've grown. The left liberal wokeocracy, they don't grow. They don't change their opinions. I do. I love my frog boyfriend, and I drink his frog water. New World Order. I drank breast milk, so I have a 30% larger brain than you, and I'm not gay. God damn. I drink lots of breast milk from my gay boyfriend. He calls it breast milk, and it looks white. Good enough for me. Glug, 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 glug. That's disgusting. Her type loves to drink unboiled raw milk and raw beef, so maybe dewormers are a good idea, though. Yeah, that's a good point. She's not doing it, but the people that are listening to her are. So yeah, if you're going to be drinking raw milk, eating raw beef, you're fucking filled with parasites. Yeah, you might want to take some ivermectin, you fucking gross pieces of shit. I'm filled with worms. I'm filled with parasites. It's the patriotic American way. Yeah, boiled raw milk is pasteurized. But no, the pasteurization is better than boiling, though. Actually, no, I'm sorry, because pasteurization, you're like vaporizing the milk, and then like it's like churning back into a liquid. You're churning it. I think you're like for like a split second, it's like being fucking like churned into a gas or something. Like pasteurization's even more thorough than boiling, but yeah. It's steamy. Yeah, it fucking like look it up. It's like there's like a special machine. I think it uses pressure and heat to do the process, right? So it's better than even boiling. But yeah, with boiling you're going to get some of the big ones, but there's still all kinds of parasites that can live through that boiling process. Pasteurization is just bringing it near boiling. Oh, okay. So it's not vaporizing it. Okay. Isn't there pressure? Isn't pressure involved? Alex Jones also was the one who said women love men who don't wear deodorant. Yeah, I bet they do. Yeah. No, the women that hang around Alex Jones, that's why they hang around him, because of his manly musk. It has nothing to do with his fat fucking wallet. So this is interesting. Mr. Big Donkey over here on Blue Sky, he's really killing it with the tweets. So he's like, we're so far into fascism that Trump announcing a social credit system for American corporations went largely unnoticed. So this is wild. Just off the cuff, just says some shit in front of the microphone, Trump style. Talking about we got a list of loyal companies, Trump-loving companies that are fair to Trump, and the government's going to be fair to them. There's a big list of corruption. This is how we do it. You're gonna either do you're gonna do a favor for Trump, or I'm gonna be Mao. I'm gonna be Stalin. He's really cool. He's like Hannibal Lecter. I'm going to be a Mao. It's okay for me to be a communist, even though I call everyone else a communist. If you're a company that doesn't agree with Trump, I'm going to destroy your company because I believe in capitalism. We're just another fascist thing that happened in between all the other fascist shit. It's like it's a fascist roller coaster, baby. We're like Fabio, except we're getting hit with pigeons every fucking 5 seconds. Most modern pasteurization also uses high pressure. Thank you. Nice. Thank you. I thought it was being vaporized. It's interesting that it's only being brought up almost to boil. Okay, so that was completely wrong. Thank you for that correction. So Chris Norland, I don't know if you guys have heard of this guy, but you should be liking and subscribing. Damn good content creator. Bit of a clickbaiter, obviously. He's playing the YouTube game. He's got the arrows. He's got the circles. But he's actually totally adorable where his wife or girlfriend is like his co-host. She could barely speak English, and her opinions are like, bad things are bad. But, it's lovely that he they're like, well, let's do one together. She's like, okay. So they're adorable together. But his main content is just him in front of the microphone. And, dude, he's not a pussy. He's not a pussy at all. I'm not saying he has the demeanor of a pussy. He has a mild-mannered demeanor, very respectable, very professional. But he's like, this is objectively fascist. These things that are happening are objectively authoritarian. He's not pulling any punches, and I would say he's pulling less punches than even BTC, who's like in a similar vein, like professional but willing to talk about the attacks on democracy, separating themselves from the MSNBC narrative in that way. So Chris Norland, up and comer, he's a comer. Make sure you like and subscribe. Unlike me, I don't subscribe as much. I just want him in my algorithm. I'll give him the like. But make sure you're subscribing because you're a sycophant for me and you just do whatever I say. Because that's how these things work. Parasocial relationships are awesome, especially if you're like at the top, right?
Can you tell us what agency you're with? I'm pressed. What agency are you with?
I don't care, my guy. Get him. So I don't know what happened. I don't know why this guy is like, I don't know. Kind of seems like he's faking it a little bit, quite frankly.
Well, welcome to dystopia, where on this timeline, the hottest job in America is putting on a mask, grabbing your tactical gear, and running down low-paid workers on the street.
So I wanted to ask my audience something. It's a rare thing to even have an audience, so I'm honored to be able to do this. So let me ask you a question. Would you allow me to get away with half-assed pretending like I'm infiltrating ICE, but just so that I can get like the $30,000 or $50,000 signing bonus? But I did like I'm infiltrating ICE thing, and I get fired right away because I refuse to stomp on somebody or chase somebody down. I'm intentionally the worst ICE agent ever, run him down. I pull out a Subway sandwich and I just start eating it or something. I do something comically embarrassing and then I get fired, but I get the signing bonus. Would you guys judge me if I did that? Right, they give me all the ICE gear. Right, they give me I get a bunch of free ICE clothing. Here's your tack vest and here's your boots. Would you guys judge me if I worked for ICE to get the signing bonus and then quit? I mean, if you got the money but didn't really hurt ICE, I don't know. I'd feel kind of neutral about it. What if I am, what if I was intentionally a really bad ICE agent and I like embarrassed ICE on camera and in front of it your badge says nice. No, because you're taking up a spot of someone who would have run after someone. Okay. Cuz like job hunting's really difficult, and it's like literally it's anybody can get this job. Anybody could get it. Your primary intention is to expose them and take their money, so of course not. Okay, so if I were to do it, I would have to do like a whole video of like I infiltrated ICE and I was intentionally bad and I got the money, and you should do it too. If you're a lefty liberal, you should sign up for ICE and get that money. I'm sure there's a probationary period. Like you don't get that sign up bonus right away. Like I'm sure they're going to work you for like 3 to 6 months before you get that check, right? So I got to like that's the thing is like I'm going to have to like there's a certain period where I'm going to have to fucking be an ICE agent. And it's like I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that for one single fucking minute. But I would have to like pretend like grab people and shit. I'd have to do that for at least several weeks. I don't know. If it's literally you get the signing bonus and you're fired the next week, then I'm doing it. Then I'm going to do that shit. Right? If it's literally, okay, you signed up and then like I get fired like within 1 week of the job. Oh yeah, I might do that shit. Cause that's like that's basically free $30,000. And all I have to be is just bad at my job. I just have to be incompetent, which is extremely easy for me. Maybe I have to put on 20 invaders first. Use every loophole in the books to delay stuff. Yeah, like I call in sick. I get signed up. I do the training, right? On my first day of work, I call in sick. And then I call in sick enough to then I get my signing bonus, and then I never show up for work. You got a nut you need to take care of. Oh, I got my nut. No, I got a nut. But don't you know, as your nut grows, so does your obligations. Most government employees are incompetent, so you wouldn't stick out. Duh, how do I do it, boss? Like I churn into a fucking cartoon character. Duh, boss. Yeah, I tried to chase him down, boss. Like, why are you talking like that? You were fine in the interview. What you talking about, boss? Does Trump have his own personally loyal? Yeah, ICE. That's what ICE is. ICE from the very beginning, after it was formed after 9/11, it was very frightening because we already have immigration enforcement, so it's redundant, and it basically you could draw a direct line from ICE directly to the president. So it had this ability to be churned into the personal police force, army of the president, and that's exactly what Donald Trump has done immediately. I showed you that skit from The Daily Show during the Bush administration where they were talking about the formation of ICE and Homeland Security, and they were like, "This is it's like a police force directly from the fucking government, from the executive branch." So, it's ICE.
This is Donald Trump's America, where your career path leads to what looks like.
So we've established that it's totally cool if I join ICE as long as there's certain criteria that I follow. Okay, it's good to know because I'm really desperate and I might fucking do this, dude. If I can get that ching quickly, I might fucking do this. I might rip off ICE, dude. That'd be sick. I'd love to rip off ICE.
A real life Hunger Games and basically a big TV show for him.
Okay, Elron, thanks.
Where you're not competing for survival, you're competing for who can deport the most people possible.
Yeah.
That's what Trump wants. And the question we need to be asking ourselves is how can we get back to
1.25
sanity before Donald Trump's crazy MAGA world becomes permanent?
Okay, Bound. That's a great idea. Okay, I love your, okay. So I actually reported on this, guys. Remember I reported on somebody recording out their window federal agents taking selfies in front of a pro-immigration sign, ripping it down, and then leaving behind a dildo. So this is them filming them doing that. And of course, they don't film the part where they leave behind a dildo. But here they are. They're like, yeah, oh, you want to talk about freedom? You want to talk about human rights? Rip that shit down. We're ICE. Tough guys.
We're taking America back, baby. Esto es para América. Los Estados Unidos es número uno.
Right. So they get the Mexican guy to do some Spanish. Oh, so it's okay now, guys. It's cool now, guys. Cool.
Vamos tomando otra vez de nuevo.
But unfortunately, this is just the beginning of Trump.
Ooh, do you think they'll give me a gun? Look at this. This guy gets a gun. No way he's qualified to shoot that and wear that. Do you think they'll give me a gun? I'd be like, I'm sick for like a month. Do I have to give the gun back? Is that negotiable? Is it like your work laptop and you can sometimes just keep it, you know?
But unfortunately, this is just the beginning of Trump's plan, as we're only about 6 months through his term. And his goal right now seems to be to make America into the least friendly vacation destination. Because as you know, nothing says land of the free like mass agents tackling food delivery drivers while tourists run for cover. Now, let's be clear. This isn't really about immigration. This isn't really about crime. This is about systematically destroying America's reputation as a welcoming place. Trump's creating an America that the rest of the world is going to want to avoid like the plague. As we talk a lot about on this channel, talk about tourism, right? But in Trump's America, like what tourism? What tourism industry? He's destroying all of it. Who wants to visit a country where you might get tackled by mysterious federal agents just for delivering someone's lunch?
Yeah, and it's already happened, by the way. Like,
what agency are you guys with?
People visiting.
What agency are you guys with?
Yeah, colonist. What happened to this guy? Did he run too hard?
Can you tell us what agency
it's not like
you're
Call
with?
of Duty, is it, buddy?
I'm pressed. What agency are you with? Okay, we just want to know what agency you're with.
Look, he's cool, pride.
Are you with the Metropolitan Police Department?
Showing that pride over there.
Or are you with the federal government?
With the rainbow mask. Good for him.
So what you just saw were local DC residents asking questions of the masked dudes. They were in unmarked cars. They wouldn't identify themselves, right? Yep. You saw it.
Yeah.
And essentially what it was...
You could literally kidnap somebody off the street as long as you went on Amazon a couple days before and bought police ICE costumes. Not even ICE, just generic police. That's what that was on their tack vests. Civilian clothes, a bandit mask across your face, and a police tack vest, and you could kidnap anybody in the United States. Fucking disappear into the night, and people are just gonna they'll record it, right? But it'll just be one of dozens events that happen every single day.
Is there was a delivery driver was picking up food from a coffee shop when the masked agents in tactical gear followed him to his moped. Local residents then were recording the whole thing. They all saw it, right? The video goes viral. That's how we have it.
What, they blasted
and you have to
into his
understand
moped?
Sort of what's happening here. So the guy, the moped, the delivery driver, he was from Venezuela. He came to the U.S. in 2023, came illegally.
Oh, no.
And essentially, according to Homeland Security, he was supposed to be deported, but missed his court date.
That a lot of people had the idea of people just
Came
showing
here to
up
deliver
and
sandwiches.
pulling people out of schools and pulling people out of Home
Disgusting.
Depot and pulling people that were just hardworking people that maybe snuck over here because they didn't have a legal way to get over here. But since they've been here, they've been good people. And they're a part of communities. And that's what freaks people
You
out.
built
because
this.
When people thought about
support
ICE, they
this.
thought, great, we're going to get rid of the gang members. They didn't
Right.
think, great, you're going to get rid of the landscaper.
Why is this human piece of fecal matter talking as if he didn't just fucking help support and build exactly what's happening? Why is he acting surprised? I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for this. They were holding up signs during the all the debates, so the crowd was holding up signs, mass deportation now, mass deportation now. Donald Trump talked about historic deportation. You voted for this. Isn't that great, right? He supports it. He donated, he donated billions of dollars of free press for Donald Trump, interviewing Trump sycophants, turning the whole comedy circle that he's associated with into a bunch of fucking idiot right-wingers long enough for Donald Trump to win the election. And now homie wants to get in front of the camera. Oh, can you believe they're doing this? I mean, someone please slap this rich man across his face. Just a good cranker. Good cranker. They're still grifting ivermectin because of this man and his ego and his inability to mea culpa, show any kind of remorse, empathy, have any kind of shame. Sorry, that was disgusting. Shouldn't have eaten a croissant. Right, but he's never admitted that he was wrong on ivermectin, because that would mean he was wrong on a bunch of other things, because he's weak. Because he's fucking weak. Yeah, he's a hack sellout. And he's gotten people killed, continues to get people killed. We got grifters out here selling ivermectin. He's staying silent.
When people thought about ICE, they thought, great, we're going to get rid of the gang members. They didn't think, great, you're going to get rid of a landscaper.
So the delivery driver then, I guess, the one who misses court date and needs to be deported, is a major emergency that Donald Trump says requires the military, right? Call the National Guard to go get this delivery driver. That's Trump's plan. There are already 800 National Guard in D.C., and Trump wants to bring in more to go after these kind of people, these, I guess, dangerous delivery drivers. He's bringing in red state.
No drugs, no crime, was just technically here illegal, right? And what did he do? What was his big master plan? DoorDash. Deliver your stupid ass a fucking cheeseburger at 2 o'clock in the morning. What a villain. Good thing we have the heroes of ICE.
National Guard from West Virginia, Ohio, and South Carolina, and basically doubling the force. So maybe another 750 people.
Great. Right. So as you can see, little dry, right, in his presentation, but Chris Norland here doing God's work. Congratulations, Chris Norland. 300, he's only just started last year, I think. So that's really good growth for Lefty News. If you enjoyed that stuff, if you want to see that more in your algorithm, make sure you're subscribing and liking to Chris Norland. Another amazing citizen journalist that we should be supporting. Can't have illegals handing our 3 a.m. Pizza Hut. No, bro. This shit's disgusting. Walk your fat ass to the Pizza Hut. That's what Bannon would do. That's what Tucker Carlson would do. That's what Charlie Kirk would do. They'd walk their patriotic ass over to the fucking Pizza Hut. I don't want no brown skin touching my pizza. I know idiots who are hospitalized because of this bad medical advice. I can't support him on that basis alone, but he's just trashed down and does the thing to benefit. Yeah, no, he's disgusting. And like this idea that he doesn't know is a fucking joke as well. Oh, I'm just asking questions. Just ironically and magically, all my conclusions are right-wing conservative. Oh, I supported Bernie once, so that means I get a break on everything. Yeah, I don't know. Is DC, is that like the head of the Electoral College? Is that where it's all going down? We already reported on Vegas. The main thing I wanted to point out in this 3 minutes, we're going to skip this one, but the main thing I wanted to point out was that just like Guard the Leaf is reporting, no mention whatsoever of European or Canadian visitors being way down. It's just like it's a mysterious summer slump. Oh, I guess it's the economy. I guess it's the heat. I guess it's this. I guess it's that. Maybe it's Joe Biden somehow. But no mention of the reality, which is that Europe is disgusted with us. Europeans are disgusted. Canadians are disgusted. And of course, if you looked brown, if you were brown from a different country, no matter where, whatever country, Mexico, Africa, whatever it is, Spain, right? If you have brown skin or even olive skin, right? If you look slightly ethnic, you want to come to the United States with these fucking goon squads running around? No mention of that. Sea lioning is my least favorite debate bro tactic. What the fuck is that? Sea lioning? That's not a thing. Show me a link where that's even written down anywhere. You just made that shit up. Sea lioning? What are you talking about? Like if I go, ooh, 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 if I make loud noise and do something, is that sea lioning? You just made that shit up. Asking questions you know the answer to distract. Oh, I see. All right, whatever. You're a little too online over here, I think. I think you're a little too online. I love how the economy is hotter than ever been, and yet it's generally bordering on proper. That's a great point. Real account, yes. Wait, real estate, real estate account yet? Real? I can't. Okay, I'm too dumb for your username. But I do agree with what you're saying. And the reason why that's happening is that Wall Street is completely disconnected from Main Street and has been for quite. Realist account yet? Thank you. I thought I said something about real estate. I'm so dumb. I'm so fucking stupid. He's the realest account yet. No, I'm the realest motherfucker on Twitch, dude. It's me. It's me. You've met your match, realist account yet. The reason why you put yet in there is because of motherfuckers like me. So welcome to the realest motherfucking news show on Twitch. But you're welcome here. Because, the Main Street is not connected to Wall Street, right? Wall Street's making money because they're sociopaths and nothing's real anymore. Like half the shit's meme stocks. Like what's going on with Tesla, right? Negative quarterly returns over and over and over again. Stock fucking skyrockets. Real estate account yet. All right, real quick, let's talk about Gavin Newsom. I'd be curious to hear your opinions on what he's doing. I think it's like, go, why not? Why not, have fun with this, push back. It seems to be working somewhat, at least it feels good. But, Gavin Newsom basically emulating Trump's ridiculous, Twitter communication style. And he's doing all kinds of memes. Like, look, you got Tom McDonald over here. Dear Gavin Newsom. And he, farts out some fucking absolutely unlistenable music. And Governor Gavin Newsom here with the absolute flame, dude. Flame burger over here. Bro, we get it, but he's not interested. Stick to Grinder. Holy fucking get zipped on, bro. Holy shit. And this is, so I don't know. You tell me what you think, but sure, go for it. Like what I think, because I think the neoliberal establishment, the Democrats, every single day need to have like the dedicated response person who gets in front of the camera and says, okay, here's a list of the lies that Donald Trump has told. Let me tell you about the facts, what the actual facts are. Here are the things that he's destroying, right? Here are the things that he's underfunding. Here are the things that he's cutting. Here are the various fascistic things he's doing, talking about the list, just going down the list, right? They should do that every single day, and they don't. And that, what does that allow? That creates a vacuum that Donald Trump is happy to fill with feces. And actual action, by the way. He can masquerade his actual actions amongst all the other chaos. And there's really no one like, okay, here's the latest lies. Here's the latest, we're doing the best that we can at covering all this, but the multi-billion-dollar Democratic establishment can't find the time, resources, or personnel to get some schmuck in front of a camera and say, oh yeah, here's the things that Donald Trump said that was untrue today. Right. And let me tweet out, and they'd have their own social media presence. So like, here's the latest lies from Donald Trump. Here's the things that are, No one's, how come the Democratic Party isn't doing that? So I'm okay with shit like this from Gavin Newsom. It's quite honestly kind of the least, right? No one else is joining him. He's totally fucking alone. Where's AOC? Where's just totally alone on this. He's got to fly solo, swimming amongst a bunch of fucking cowards, I guess. Gavin is a dead end, but at the end of the day, he's doing a Trump. But even if he were to beat him later, he will need to defend himself in progress, maintain consolidated power. Also, talking to Tucker Carlson probably isn't a good sign. I mean, here's the thing: the bar is so low, the selection of candidates is so shitty. This might bring him to the very top of the establishment neoliberal choices, right? Because it's like Pete Buttigieg, Gavin Newsom, Slotkin, sure, buddy, sure, okay, Slotkin, sure, you keep thinking about that, and then a few others, but really, these actions right here will take him right to the top of the mainstream choice, because he's the only one showing any leadership whatsoever. Even AOC, she should be, loud and proud and really, every single day in front of a camera, and because AOC should be doing a Nigel Farage, being a gadfly, constantly criticizing, and she doesn't. She plays the game, and now Gavin Newsom is louder and more in front of the story than she is. But it's hard to say if he can clear the finish line. I mean, it's hard to say that we're going to have any kind of legitimate election whatsoever. Vance is probably going to win in 2028. In an election? No way. Vance is Jeb Bush 2.0. In an actual election, he's getting nowhere near power. Newsom is Dem frontrunner for now. Maybe Waltz. No, and that's the thing. Waltz is like, where the fuck is Waltz? Right? He said a couple things a couple months ago, but that motherfucker needs to get in front of a camera every single day, responding to Trump like it's hard work. Olivia over here, who gives Elon Musk $5 a month. The funniest thing about this is ever since Newsom started mocking him, Trump has stopped posting in all caps, which is kind of funny. And this is funny right here, like an AI generated image of Gavin Newsom, all like oiled up and muscular, like, defeating Donald Trump. That's totally exactly what it's really funny. It's like, look at this one. I mean, he's kind of killing it, man. Right? This is exactly what Donald Trump would post. Kid Rock, Tucker Carlson, Hulk Hogan looking down from heaven. Hulk Hogan's basically Jesus 2.0. So it's pretty funny. And apparently, according to inside sources, according to the halfway post, so halfway to a grain of salt over here, okay? Maybe a couple grains of salt. White House staffers say Donald Trump has been obsessing over Gavin Newsom's tweets all week and won't stop ranting about how bitchy they are. So, it's like, wait a minute, how can he be so hypocritical, really? Because he does it every single day, but he actually has a problem with someone else, dishing it back just a little bit. And it's like, yes, yeah, no, he is a child. He's a toddler. Like, think about how a 3-year-old would respond, right? Like, you're being unfair to me. I don't want nap time. No one else is napping. I don't want to nap. And everything's unfair. Holding two hands filled with cookies, like, I want more cookies. Everyone got more cookies than me. Just like totally selfish and vain, narcissistic, hypocritical, and so wildly in their own universe they can't even comprehend how they're being selfish or hypocritical. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Does that matter though? Because like, you're getting under his skin. I think so. I think it's good that we're pushing back at all. That we're not something. It's something. I don't know. It's something is better than absolutely nothing from Hakeem Jeffries, right? The absolute fucking silence, except for the sound of a cash register from donations from Silicon Valley and other oligarchs. That's the only sound Hakeem Jeffries makes. Well, realist account, yeah. That honestly sounds a little bit like defeatism, but I mean, it's going to be it's going to require a lot of hard work. And even if by some miracle we were to get a neoliberal in there, there's a good, I haven't, you tell me, but I haven't heard a single neoliberal like Gavin Newsom or Pete Buttigieg say, I'm going to hit the reset button and I'm going to, anything that Trump does, I'm going to reverse, and why don't they say that? Because there's a lot of shit that they're going to keep. They're not going to completely reverse Trump, right? Because the idea from the neoliberal establishment is always, well, it's okay for the president to have all this power, just as long as it's like a Barack Obama or a Biden who's like real careful with it and basically doesn't use it ever. There's a case, because like, will Gavin Newsom add more seats to the Supreme Court, for example? There's a mechanism to do this, right? There's a mechanism to add more seats. I think FDR did it. And then nominate more Supreme Court justices, right? So there's a whole mechanism to do that. Is Gavin Newsom going to do that? Probably fucking not. Gavin Newsom will probably spend 4 years fighting against an activist Supreme Court that does everything to undermine his administration and do nothing about it. Right? So yeah, we got some serious problems, even if we were somehow to defeat Donald Trump in the election. And Donald Trump were somehow to allow the election to happen. Right. No, realist account. Yeah, that's what I expect from a real motherfucker. I appreciate that clarification. So the last, okay, I got two more Gavin Newsom things, and then we'll be done with Mr. Newsom here. Governor Newsom on the media's feigned outrage over his Trump-style posts. What an admission. Where have they been not asking Donald Trump this? And it is fair to criticize the media for the the kid gloves that they handled Donald Trump with. It's fucking embarrassing. The man is a shrieking, quivering toddler. Okay, and the best you can do is maybe, sir, could you answer this question, sir? Okay, yeah, no, I am the enemy of the people. I'll shut up. I'm sorry. That's the best we can get from U.S. so-called lefty liberal media. So it's like, once again, it's good to see anybody talking shit, right? We're not above this. Let's fucking fight. We're in the ring. We're getting our ass beat. Okay, we're covered in fucking mud and blood. Can we start swinging? Oh, that'd be uncouth. Oh, I don't know. Nancy Pelosi doesn't swing. Hakeem Jeffries says that might be a bad idea. Zoran Mamdani is swinging. I feel like, we're in the mud. We should be swinging.
You've been asked questions by members of corporate news. Why are you writing these social media messages in all caps? And why are you so aggressively mocking Donald Trump and his administration? I call them the regime. Why are you doing that? Does this give you the moral authority? Well, how could you do that? And I'm like, why are you asking this to Governor Newsom? Where have you been? What do you make of that?
What an admission. Off-world colonists, I mean, there's a lot of variety, right? You got the real motherfuckers like Kyle Kulinski, and then you got the kind of like, okay, there's some concerning things like TYT. So it's like, you got to be a little bit more specific than independent, right? Because there's a big swath of, PBD claims to be independent. All these little right-wingers and, Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro, right? They claim to be independent, right? But they got big financiers. So it kind of depends. Community did have a campaign that's armed people in fact show up. People, I mean, it's like the neoliberals are betting, and they're correct on this, that they don't really need to have a message that inspires people to show up per se. Once again, it's the Joe Biden strategy, right? Of just like, people are going to be sick and tired of Donald Trump, so let's hope that democracy defeats fascism, even though the fascists are doing everything they can to undermine our electoral system. So it's this heavy leaning on dependence of the electoral system. So we are seeing the neoliberals act on the gerrymandering thing, right? Because it's like, they're heavily depending on the electoral system to put them back into power. Defend democracy. We're doing this again. We're doing this, defend democracy. No populism, right? Generic, lofty terms. It might as well be Kamala Harris's. And look, we all love democracy. I love liberty, but what does that fucking mean? Okay, defend democracy doesn't say cheaper food. Defend democracy doesn't say cheaper gas. Defend democracy doesn't say I'm going to get higher wages or lower taxes if I'm in the middle class. It doesn't say that you're going to go after the oligarchy and the rich. What does it even mean? It doesn't even guarantee that you're going to undo what Trump did. Defend democracy. How about you defend this nutsack? The fuck does it even mean? It's the same status quo, hit, repeat, photocopied neoliberal strategy with a little extra Gavin Newsom spice, right? With a little extra sass, California flavored sass, right? Which is, nice to see. It's refreshing. But if democracy wasn't being subverted, they would be guaranteed to win. Uh-oh, was I just banned? Uh-oh, I think it was just banned. Hold on. Nope, still on Twitch. Yay! All right. Woo! Okay, it was just my restream having a problem. Okay, we're still here, folks. All right, thank you, Jeff Bezos. Thank you, Twitch, for allowing me to continue to be here. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. Like, if democracy wasn't being subverted, Gavin Newsom would coast into this with a guaranteed win, right? Because 4 years of this is going to, we're 8 months into this, and it is like the most exhausting thing I think most Americans have gone through in terms of politics, right? It certainly is for me. So he defend democracy. We can just we offer up more slop. We know where that should say lower taxes, right? Or like cheaper food, cheaper gas. Something substantive that's going to hit the middle class fucking immediately. What does it mean? It doesn't matter what it means, right? Because they just want to coast right into it. Meanwhile, what are they doing? What are they working the hardest in the background? What are they working the hardest to achieve? To defeat Zoran Mamdani, to defeat AOC, to defeat any so-called progressive challenger to the neoliberal status quo. That's what Hakeem Jeffries, I guarantee you, a good chunk of his day outside of fundraising is strategizing to destroy the progressive left. Not because they think it's a shoe-in with the right. We don't need to focus on the right. The real worry is that the left-wing neoliberal establishment is going to be replaced by the Zorons. That's the real threat, because we're going to guarantee to win. It's guaranteed to win the election. Look at the polls. So, I do agree with the gerrymandering response. I totally disagree with what happened in Texas. They showed up. The vote hasn't happened yet, but the Democrats are back. The Republicans have their quorum. Texas is going to redistrict. So it's like, everything's out the window, right? Democracy, we don't have to respect the old rules. I agree with the direction that Gavin Newsom is going here, and I agree with the response. I like what he's doing, right? Asking Californians, putting it on the ballot, right? In November, do you want to do a wildly unfair? Do you want to do just a completely unfair redistricting where we target Republican districts and completely fucking annihilate them like they did in Texas, Kentucky, etc. Right? And giving that option to the voters. I think the voters are going to say yes. I would vote yes. I'd be like, yeah, there's no fucking choice. Right? Because why even have the election if it's like, yeah, we've removed all your seats and we double the amount of representatives in the Congress and Senate, so you're fucking screwed. I wish AOC was a centrist in the Democrat. The fact that she's far left. You think AOC's far left? What's your definition of far left? Huh? Give me one far left policy. What, is it being anti-war? Is it being anti-genocide, pro-Palestinian human rights? Pro-women, pro-abortion rights? Anti-ICE? Which one of these things are so-called far left? And by the way, what does that mean? She's not even a democratic socialist. Far left, huh?
Where have they been not asking Donald Trump this at every press conference? He talks to people as if we're all a bunch of idiots. He talks down to us, talks past to us, talks like we're third graders, like we're fools. Where have they been asking the question of Donald Trump?
Talking about the media.
Thank you for your attention in this manner, DJT. So we tried to raise a little awareness around that, tried to sort of take what he's doing and push it back in his direction. Now everyone's so offended. It's so unbecoming, Governor, of your position. But not the president of the United States that calls people nicknames. This is serious. serious moment. It requires serious people, requires serious journalism. But look, you know this, they're scared to death because he'll cancel them. He'll stop some merger. There's so many things we don't.
Is this guy made out of fucking PVC plastic? What the fuck, dude? These colors aren't natural for a human being of his age. None of this is natural. How expensive is this face? How expensive is the teeth?
Even know that are happening behind the scenes. Everything that happened with Paramount, everything that happened with 60 Minutes, what's happening with these law firms, what's happening Harvard University. Boy, shame on them.
He's right. By the way, I agree with everything that he's saying here, but let's not forget who this fucker is. This guy destroyed single-payer healthcare in California so that he can continue to bring in the ching-ching.
Sell their soul. They'll be selling out higher education. They'll be selling out freedom of intellectual freedom and speech. They'll be selling out their own institution, other institutions. We're going to put it all out on the line. It's time for all of us to stand the line. It's not about drawing lines. It's about holding the line for our democracy. And it's about protecting our freedoms. It's not about no longer taking for granted what we've enjoyed for 249 damn years. It's all at risk.
He's right. He's right. He's not. He's trying to do it in a way that preserves the neoliberal status quo. So he's a bastard. Right, because he's not breaking free. He's still trying to make it work, still trying to convince you that this is the way to go, that these are the guys that win elections. Right? So this establishment will often use truth in a dishonest way, and that's what we're seeing here. Saying the fact that people claim, "Oh, I see. I'm sorry, realist account yet. I need better reading comprehension. It's hard to do all this and read as well. I need anti-capitalist policies and yeah." All right, I apologize. You know, realist accounts the second time I've done this to you, man. I'm sorry. We get a lot of fastidious people coming into the chat. We get a lot of people who have agendas that think they're clever, that think they're hiding them, or think that they're like incepting new like propaganda and into our into the discussion. But the regulators in the chat, and of course abandoned nihilism right here. We do everything we can to fight against that, right? Because it's about finding the truth. It's not about supporting and reassuring and buttressing our preconceived notions of the world, right? We want to challenge those as much as we can, but at the same time, if we know something is wrong, we want to back that up as well. I guess I got one more here. I used to stream. I've seen idiots claim Obama's a communist. I understand. Yeah. We used to get a lot of Nazi bots. We do. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, cause you're saying like far left, right? I thought you were saying like AOC is a communist. It's like, well, people that say AOC is a communist don't know what a fucking communist is. Talk to a real communist and they'll tell you how much they love AOC. I love Bernie. Yeah, me too. Yeah. Well, it's a damn shame. Bernie had the fucking universe in his palm, and he gave it up so Nancy Pelosi could be nice to him at his funeral. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it.
With a special election on November 4th, coinciding with other local municipal elections to neutralize anything that Greg Abbott and Republicans are doing in Texas. They do 5 seats, we do 5 seats. And we're not only doing that, we're also announcing, as a consequence of this effort, a commitment to national independent redistricting.
Oh, I see.
That's on the ballot as well.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, Tisrael. Yeah, there's some very obvious crypto-fascist dog whistles. Like, we've had people come in here, the guy with the mustache. It's like, okay, yeah. Can anybody do something about this? No? Okay.
We believe it's the right thing to do. In fact, the Democratic Party believes it's the right thing to do. Democrats have voted for national independent redistricting. Republicans have not. So spare me the crocodile tears on Fox and everyone else saying, oh, everybody does this. Oh, these guys have been gerrymandering for years and years and years. Not like these folks have.
Yeah, 100% true. But also, hand waves away the fact that when Democrats are in charge, when they had supermajorities, never once did they question removing gerrymandering, reforming gerrymandering, right? Why? Because they would take advantage of it themselves. That's why they never removed it. Many other issues pertaining to the Electoral College have not been reformed because when they're in charge, they take advantage of them. And now what do we have? A completely lopsided system. Obama handing over power, all that executive power over to Donald Trump. Same thing with Joe Biden, happily handing over all this power to Donald Trump, and he's shameless. He doesn't fucking care. So yeah, just it's cute how this slick Clinton cosplayer over here just hand waves away the fact that the neoliberal establishment has been happy to participate in this anti-democratic practice for fucking decades.
And we're at least willing to call that out. And in California, we have moral authority because for 15 years we've had an independent redistricting.
So that is true. And big props, by the way, to all the other left-leaning states that reformed gerrymandering on their own at a local state level and said, no, we're removing, the ability to, completely manipulate it. We're going to do independent commissions. We're gonna get the politicians out of this process as much as possible. So big props. It's ironic though, those states that are now, they have those laws in place, they've hobbled themselves because now they have to go to the people and say, can you allow us to be wildly authoritarian and anti-democratic and just completely shit on the other party in response to their existential threats against democracy. Very, very fucked up set of circumstances that we're currently living in, folks.
Commission, and we have some of the most competitive races.
Yeah,
they may be going to Democrats. That's on the basis of competition, but some of the most competitive districts in America.
No, I swear to God, the guy looks like a fucking Clinton cosplayer, right? It looks like he's going to a Clinton convention. Someone here with a slam dunk tweet. So Dexterdo pointing out that the Nike co-founder Phil Knight has donated $2 billion to an Oregon cancer center. Wow, it's so nice of you, Phil. $2 billion. Wow, that's a lot of money. Chuck over here pointing out, by the way, Chuck, are you giving Elon Musk $5 a month? That's kind of shitty. That's kind of dumb. I don't know why you do that. Every time you read about a billionaire making a quote-unquote donation, remember that if they just paid their fair share of taxes, we wouldn't need their narcissistic handouts. And that's 100% true, right? He works tooth and nail to make sure that he doesn't have to pay any money in taxes. And, and he feels, to sate his conscience, because, he saw a starving kid one time, driving by in his limo. And he's like, oh, okay, click, text his people. Oh, can we donate to this or that? Oh, I don't know. I just feel kind of bad. So, and instead of his little narcissistic handouts, as pointed out here, and I agree with that characterization, we should just tax these people appropriately. Clinton wasn't all this shit. You probably think there's a money question. Yeah, Tisrael. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Clinton over here gonna sue Gavin Newsom for fucking stealing his style. When Republican expenses for yeah, this DEI comment. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're plugged in, man. So, me. We're not gonna do a stream, as well, sometimes we do, but we got to talk about your boy, the template, Zoran Mamdani, okay, the savior of the liberal world, okay, and how democratic socialists need to be holding themselves in public, okay? This is how democratic socialism wins. The Zoran Mamdani template, the model, okay? What am I talking about? One, and you're going to see here, perfect example. You have answers to the gotcha questions. That means you're really well read on the issues and also on the propaganda. You have to be plugged in, okay? No other way to do it but hard work and paying attention, nose to the grindstone. Right, but you have answers to the gotcha questions. How are you going to pay for it? You're a disgusting anti-Semite, which is what we're going to see here. Oh, how come you hate Jewish people so much? And right, you need to have answers to these questions, and they need to be good. Two, you need to be patriotic. You need to love your country, love your state. You need to be into it. You need to represent it and reflect it. Okay, and that's once again hard to find that authenticity, but we need it. That's what's needed here. And step 3, you hold to your principles. If you believe in human rights, you don't flounder. You don't tiptoe around it. You don't change language as much as possible, right? You have to be strategic, right? But you hold to your principles. And with step 1, you have the intelligence and, ability to defend your principles, right? You're not just, well, yeah, I don't like Hamas, but you're tripping around yourself, right? With simple accusations that you should have seen coming, right? From the pro-Israeli lobbying groups who are ready with the fucking, you're a communist, you hate Jewish people, you support Hamas. You stand on business even if you have to stand alone. That's fucking right, boy. So those three things, that's the template. That's the Zoran Mamdani template. And if democratic socialists anywhere in America want to succeed, this is the guy we need to be emulating. Watch how he puts this propagandist in his place. Watch how he puts this shill in his place with a firm, strong defense of human rights, and also his own record. This is amazing stuff. This is the guy we need to be emulating, folks.
When you use words like accusing when you use words referring to the only Jewish state in the world, like genocide and apartheid, when you call for divestment and all, that is inciting these mobs. And he says...
right, so calling for boycotting Israel is inciting anti-Jewish mobs, okay? Pretty fucking scummy shit, right?
Shared sense of humanity and all these nice sounding words. But he has a double standard, because if you search his Twitter feed, 15,000 tweets, Sudan, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia don't appear, yet the word Israel appears more than 50 times. The word genocide appears more than 26 times. So that tells you where his heart is.
So right there, because he's had the nutsack to criticize Israel for their, right? Because that's the argument. Oh, you're obsessed. Why are you so obsessed with Israel? They bust that out. Usually in desperation, right? Oh, you sure do talk about Israel a lot. You sure you're not, one of those?
With the anti-Semitic
you sure you're not one of those types? Classic smears. Okay, this is right out of the textbook. Okay, if you're in politics and you're not expecting this, what are you, Cornell West? Right? Like, hit the fucking chalkboard, man. All right, you got to spend a little bit more time online. You got to, if you're a politician, you got to be online. So how does the template respond? Let's see.
Okay. Briefly. I am being smeared for echoing the same words as Israeli historians Amos Goldberg and Daniel Blattman. Boom. I am being mischaracterized on the stage for echoing the same words of a former Israeli Prime Minister, Ehud Olmert, who said recently, "What we are doing in Gaza is a war of devastation. It is indiscriminateness, limitless, cruel and criminal killing of civilians."
Little slip up.
I say these things because far too often we take what can be a place of disagreement and instead start to broach beyond that. Ooh. And these kinds of characterizations, they are part and parcel of what leads to the dehumanization in our city, which is why an elected official in our own city has called for me to be deported. It cannot be disentangled from what's going on right now.
Woo! Woo! I mean, whoa, dog. Whoa, I'm getting goosebumps. Okay? Not only is what I'm saying correct, right? I got Israelis that I'm gonna quote by name, and I'm gonna point out that this smear is dishonest, disgusting, and contributes to the dehumanization that is creating and aiding and abetting the genocide happening in Gaza. Oh, I got fucking goosebumps, dude. He wouldn't have been able to respond in that way had he not, taken care of step one, had he not been plugged in, totally informed, ready to go. You need all three of those pillars to emulate the template, okay? Jesus, okay? Jesus. Okay, your average Green Party, Code Pink style progressive can't handle the smoke. We need to elevate ourselves. We need to elevate our politics. We need to elevate our rhetoric. We need to be ready to fight. We need to be ready to be smeared. We need to be ready to counterpunch. The template, man. The motherfucking template. Motherfucking Mamdani. I'm telling you, he can't be president, which sucks, right? I don't know why we can't. We're breaking all the other rules. We're shitting all over the Constitution left and right over here. But yeah, no, we're probably going to stay true to this one, aren't we? So he can't be president. But this is how democratic socialists win in America, right here. Zoran Mamdani. I've seen a lot, okay? You know, Dennis Kucinich had some heat, but he didn't have the magic that Zoran has. I'm telling you, man, something special about this guy. Something special. Last little bit of news I have for you today. I'd like to get into some of these other things, but, you know, I'm running out of steam here and I'm running out of time. So we're just going to get to the last one here. Kind of funny stuff. So Prince William, who's going to be king once the other guy fucking turns into dust or whatever the fuck happens to these people. Prince William here, he's going to be the king, and he's saying reportedly plans to strip Prince Andrew of his titles when he becomes king, which is okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. You know, nice little gesture there. Okay. What about arresting pedophiles for committing pedophilia? Can't. It's too much. It's too much. Can't do that. Yeah, exactly. Realist account yet. True centrist policies haven't even been tried yet. Don't be such a radical communist. Some of the Game of Thrones shit going on in the UK. Exactly. So I mean, I have my respect meter for Prince William has gone up 5%. So congratulations, Prince William. You have earned 5% more of my respect. Even though you're a disgusting monarch and you're happy to support the monarchy, you're not going to dismantle the monarchy. So you're a disgusting monarchist who's going to perpetuate this farce called royalty in 2025, whatever the fuck. So beyond my absolute disgust and hatred for anything that has to do with any monarchy anywhere, I'm not enamored with kings. You know, no God, no kings, only man, right? That's when we're truly free. So honestly, humanity isn't truly free until this farce of an organization called the British royalty is dismantled and destroyed. Remember the 5th of November. Yeah, I don't think I fully agree with that guy either. So, you know, my wild hatred for the monarchy aside, my respect meter for Prince William has gone up 5%. Congratulations, Prince William. Arrest this pedophile. Okay, strip him of his titles. That's a minimum. Okay, arrest this guy. Arrest him. But hey, okay, strip him of his titles, whatever. Do what your mother and father couldn't do because they, oh, Prince Andrew, oh, my lovely prince, oh, Randy Andy, oh, he's so cute. Right. Prince William, it's interesting because it's like they've probably been, from the very beginning, he's probably never been a fan of this guy. He doesn't have that connection. And he's like, no, as soon as I get in charge, I'm, this guy, I don't want to even fucking see his face, right? Which, that's great. That shows a modicum of morality. You know what I mean? It shows like a baseline morality. Okay. I mean, we're not going to arrest the guy. That's too far. We can't set that example of having the royalty, on the same level as a peasant. Can't have that. Right. But okay, we'll strip him of his title. Okay. He's going to make an monarchic state. Prince Andrew just needs to coup from the inside. What the fuck? Anarcho-monarchism, clipped "and-mon," is a theoretical form of government which combines anarchy with monarchy. You know what? It's funny because a monarchy is literally the exact opposite of anarchy. So how the fuck is this going to work? Anarcho-monarchism usually leans right-wing. Wow, no kidding. In economic and cultural matters, partly because most left-wing anarchists can't stand the concept of monarchy. Yeah, you don't say. I would pay money to be in the same room as somebody who's a devout anarchist and somebody who's a devout anarcho-monarchist. It'd be like putting two bugs that hate each other in the same aquarium and just watching them go at it, fucking bug fight, but except it's with these guys. But doesn't fundamentally have to be. Okay, so this is one of those like navel-gazing political debate, what if kind of things. Like, what if it was like this? This is all fun and games. It's a lot of fun, but I don't take it very seriously. Oh, we got another clip. What are you doing clipping me over here? Glenn Klippenstein. I'd have to mute everything. I'm curious what these clips are. Hold on. Hold on here. I have multiple tabs of Twitch open because I need to game my numbers here. 1 second. All right, let me see what he says. Yeah, funny because a monarchy is literally the exact opposite of anarchy. So how the fuck is this okay. gonna It's work? just okay. It's just the thing that I said. Well, thank you for clipping. I appreciate that. I'm sorry, I don't know what happens when people just use Twitch like you're supposed to use Twitch. Like, I don't know. Thank you for that clip. Very funny. Anarcho-monarchism. Sure, whatever, buddy. The only question I have for people that want to have that debate is, do you vote and do you participate in political activism? Because if you do those two things, then have fun. Have all the debates you want. Navel gaze all way. You know, like have these what-if debates about Mao and Stalin and all this stuff. Have all those conversations as long as you're voting and as long as you're engaging in political activism, right? That means donating, getting in the streets, participating how you can, fighting to create a better world. Okay, then okay, have all the fucking debates that you want. But if you're like if you're like a drama bro, you're not even voting, right? But you're just like, what did Destiny say about Hassan? What did Asmongold say? It's like, you're fucked up, dude. You're fucked up, right? It's like politics shouldn't be treated as entertainment because people die when you don't take it seriously. You don't vote, you might be the next monarch. Everyone gets a chance, but not really. Interesting takes there. So yeah, big props to your boy, Realist Account Yet. Thank you so much, Realist Account Yet. You found the reason why you put Yet in your title. It's because of me, dude. You found it, okay? You found there's always a guy that's bigger than you. There's always a guy that's better. No, I'm just kidding. I am one real motherfucker though. So real to real. Real respects real. I appreciate it. Great comments. So big props to you. Realist Account Yet. Hopefully we'll see more of you. I stream big streams on Saturday, and I try to sprinkle in streams during the week if I can. So that's what we do around here. I'm Abandoned Nihilism. This is the News Underground. Just the bottom of the barrel when it comes to news. That's why we're in politics and we're not in just chatting. Big props to your boy Tisriel. Simply Steve, thank you for coming back. It's always good to see you. Thank you, Simply Steve. Who else did we have in the chat here? We had Off-World Colonists. Always good to see Off-World Colonists. Good Guy Dari, the motherfucking regulators, the OGs in the chat. B-Ree's back over here. It's good to see you, B-Ree. Sorry you caught the very end of the stream, but it's always good to see you pop in, even for a second. Realest motherfucker on Twitch. That's how I operate. Okay. Do I have my own biases? Yeah, my bias is liberty, democracy, freedom. And I mean that shit. I'm not like Charlie Kirk trying to fucking sell you oatmeal or some shit. Oh, I put my name on a fucking cologne bottle. Buy this. Paul Bet Davidson over here trying to fucking sell you a hat. I don't want your stinky ass hat, PBD. Oh, maybe genocide, not so bad. B-Ree, it's always good to see you. Promethean Rebellion, always good to see you. Big props. Anybody in the chat, anybody that's lurking, the most valuable thing you can give me is your view. The second most valuable thing you can give me is your comment. Third most valuable thing you can give me is money. Please give me money. Please just send me money. I don't have any donations or anything set up. I'm too stupid to do that. But if you could just please just send me like 50 cents. You got like 50 cents. You just put it in an envelope. Mail it to me. Good to see you. Got to catch you earlier next time. Yeah, I'll be on Saturdays. Saturdays. I'll be begging for money on Saturdays. I should probably set up... once I get, like, more than 10 fucking viewers, I'll set up donations. But what's the point? What's the point of asking people that come back every single time I stream, oh, give me some money as well? Like, your time is valuable enough, right? Once I get, like, 100 people and my chat turns into madness, then maybe I'll start asking people for money. You got 21, and I'm grateful for every single one of them. So thank you very much to every single one of you viewers. I'm greatly appreciative. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's not forget why we're here, though. We're here to create political change. How do we do that? It's simple. It's as easy and simple as 1, 2, 3. Step 1, we inform ourselves, right? Hit the books. We figure out what we believe in. That's step 1. Step 2, we sign up and show up. If there's a protest, if there's a movement, if there's an organization that needs our help, we ask how we can help. Maybe we don't want to get in the streets. Maybe we want to make some signs. Maybe we just want to donate some money. Whatever it is, we're doing it. Because the only thing we're not doing is nothing. Step 3, we got to put in the work like Charlie motherfucking Kirk, okay? We got to work just as hard as the fascists are at dismantling this country. We got to work the same at rebuilding this country. That's the only way we're ever going to defeat fascism, is if we work hard or harder than Steve Bannon and Charlie Kirk. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. It's a lifestyle choice, okay? You either believe in your own freedom, you believe in your own emancipation, or you believe in your own fucking slavery. Peace in that motherfucking Middle East and glory to the Ukrainian democracy. We'll see you next time on the realest motherfucking news channel on Twitch. Easily. Peace out. Blase in this motherfucker. Take care of yourself, everybody. Thank you. You know it's Simply Steve.